actually got the ball. Yes, good evening, Spurs fans worldwide, and it is an absolute big one tonight. It is the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. We welcome Manchester down to N17 under the lights, and the stakes couldn't be any bigger with a semi-final place on offer. Of course, we already have the freedom of the city of Manchester, and they're coming back down begging for it back. So let's see how they get on. And as you can see, we've got a stellar panel with us. And throughout tonight, we will build up to tonight's game. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to chat about the atmosphere and all that sort of great stuff, team selection and all of that. So, guys, make sure as we go along, make sure you get your comments in, your questions in, anything you want answered. Make sure you smash that like button. Tell new people coming in to do the same. And also feel free to show support to us if you deem fit. But as you can see, we've got a stellar panel. Let's go around, find out how they are heading into tonight's game. Then we'll welcome all you at home, tell everything you need to know, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Jack, how are you this evening, my man?
Doing all right, Dave. Getting ready for what should be one of the bigger games of the season. It's one where Ange Postecoglou probably could get a lot of fans back, a lot of people back on the Ange Express if he were to get through tonight. And it's just a massive game against a massive team, Manchester United. I look forward to, hopefully, after this game, just all the talk sport calls coming in. This is supposed to be Manchester United Football Club, all that sort of thing, just spouted over and over again. Had a nice little workout this morning, just trying to manifest positive vibes, Dave.
Well, to be honest with you, I reached out to Jesus not so long ago, Jack, looking right direct at the sky. Please do me a solid tonight. I understand if it doesn't work out, you've got reasons why, but I need one tonight. So hopefully, I've lived my life right this year, this month, especially considering it's his birthday month and I get rewarded tonight. That'd be absolutely brilliant because I do think the semi-final will calm everything down around Tottenham, get Spurs fans a bit giddy and actually give us the motivation we need heading into the second half of the season. So I think a lot of our campaign or a lot of the motivation heading into the second half of the season really rides on tonight. Soren, great to have you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. You pumped up for tonight's game?
In it, man. It's a big game tonight, isn't it? So let's not pretend about that one. I don't like saying it, but it kind of does define our season almost. It's that sort of match tonight that if we win it, we go on. If we're out, it's just a big meltdown, isn't it? It's going to be horrendous tonight. I just hope the fans in the stadium get behind the team, give it the atmosphere, really pump it up. And for once, the players actually turn up and do something. Because if the players don't turn up tonight, then it's a disaster, isn't it? If you can't pump yourself up for this, then there's no hope. But it's massive. It is massive tonight. I don't think there's any way of understating that we have to win tonight.
100%, because we've got tough games coming up over the Christmas period. You got Liverpool off the back of this, and it doesn't get any easier all the way throughout the January break, and then off the back of it again. So, and heading into the business end of the season, you want to be in competitions, and despite a lot of what's gone on this season, almost all them struggles would be worth it if you find yourself in a semi-final, come out the other end. So I definitely agree with you. I think it's absolutely huge tonight. I think if you go out tonight, questions around Postecoglou will come out again, given the short time that Amarim's in at Man United. The fact that Amarim and what's that idiot at Liverpool? What's his name? The bald head mini-me. What's his name? Slot. The fact that he's doing well at Liverpool, two managers that Tottenham could have went after. So, I think it'll start putting more and more questions around. So I think it's absolutely huge tonight. But Kulusevski's words were promising, said that everybody loves playing for him and stuff like that. So he did say, now we need to bring the consistency to take the pressure off him. Well, tonight's one of them nights. Big up, Dermo. How are you, man?
Yeah, firstly, can you hear me? I've got a brand new mic. So it's the first time I've used it.
Clear, lad.
Yeah. I followed Jack's sort of mic. I went sort of nearly got the same as his. So I'm using it tonight. So I'm really pleased with it, actually. But yeah, look, all I'm going to say is Spurs are on the way to Wembley. I don't know all this negative talk of Tottenham not going to win tonight. There will be an implosion. No, there won't be an implosion because we're going to win. It's only Man United, lads. Don't sweat it. It's only Man United, and we're going to win tonight. I understand where Soren's coming from, but I'm just in a delusional pre-Christmas happy mood, and we're going to smash United tonight. 3-1 coming. We'll give them a goal because I'm feeling generous. It is the year of giving, and it is the year of being nice. So we'll give them a goal, but in the 90th minute. But we're going to win tonight. I want that stadium rocking tonight. I want it to be like Galatasaray or Rangers. I want it rocking. And, I had on Spurs on the way to Wembley today in the car. On the way doing my bit of shopping, singing it. So, I'm in the mood. We're on the way to Wembley. Ooh, come on, you Spurs.
No, I really do hope so, Dermo. Big up, my man. Donovan, last but not least, my man, how are you keeping? You ready for tonight's game?
Lady, gentlemen in the chat, how's everyone doing? I'm full meltdown. Absolute loss of head over here in Canada. I've somehow convinced myself that extra reps at the gym and cold plunges will determine our first team success, and we are fully behind this Ange train. So no, I'm looking forward to today's positive result, and whatever happens. But we are miles ahead of United in our project. We'll take advantage of those half spaces in behind, and we just play the better football. It's Ange ball. It's the way we want to, whether it's right or wrong. So I'm fully behind the lads today, and ask me again in 6 hours. But for now, we're just fine.
No, 100%. Look, of course, this is all build up. We're allowed to get happy, clappy, carried away. Let's see how we actually get on in the game tonight. But the game is at the greatest coliseum of football, purpose-built actually to keep the noise in the stadium and sort of accentuate the noise that it does generate, which we're going to speak a little bit about tonight because, you hear a lot of fans complaining about the atmosphere and stuff at the stadium. However, it is at the greatest entertainment venue in world football right now. It is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. tonight. Referee is John Brooks. No VAR tonight across the competition. And if you want to watch the game in the UK and Ireland, it's on Sky Sports. In the USA, it's on Paramount Plus. And in Australia, it is on beIN Sports. Also, note there is no extra time tonight. It will go straight to penalties if it's a stalemate at 90 minutes. So I don't think anyone wants to see Fraser Forrester in penalties. So I would say we need to get the job done nice and early, despite how good he's been. Okay, I did have an injury graphic there, but for some reason, I think I've added this one in twice. So we forget about it. Everyone knows the Tottenham players that are missing. I think Mason Mount is missing for United. I think Mazraoui is sort of he's going to have a late fitness test. And, of course, Marcus Rashford left out the squad. So that's all you really need to know about Man United. Let's welcome some people in, and then let's crack on. We've got Danny Darko. Good to see you. I'm not saying it. I jinx it every time. I think everyone's sort of going with the voodoo today. Everyone wants to do everything absolutely correctly. Scotty Hynam, big up to all. Time to smash it. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Scotty Hynam. Good to see you, brother. Terry Wright, big up, gents, and everyone in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you, Terry. Adrian, good to see you. Hopefully you enjoy yourself down at the stadium tonight, my man. We've got Stevie Fraser. Big up, everyone. Please, Tottenham, give us this. Not too proud to beg at this point. I don't think any of us should be at this point. Stevie, good to see you in the house. Cyprus Spurs, good evening, guy. Looking forward to this one. Feeling confident tonight. 2-0. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Cyprus Spurs. Don't share the same confidence. I'm nervous. Maybe it's because there's so much on the line, but let's see how we get on. We've got Slim Boy Tubbs, the Oxymoron. Big up, one and all. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you. We also have Vinyl Horror. Good luck today, fellas. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. David the King, United 3, Spurs 1. We've got Mungie in the house. Good to see you. We have King Hoddle. Angelo Dundee once said, if your boxer is tall, make him taller. If he's short, make him shorter. We need to continue playing the same way, but just do better. Angie, win, lose, or draw. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, King Huddle. Love that. We've got Daniel Capel Music says, Larry, see some hearts, folks. Really appreciate that, my man. Iceman says, big up Dave and Jack and everyone in the chat. Hope you all have a good week. If we turn up, we win comfortably. Come on, you Spurs. Finn Rickwood says, big up Dave, Jack, panel and the chat. Good to see you. Skunk Works. Good evening, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. Foggy Phone, big up guys and everyone in the chat. We have a better attack than them, while they now have a better defense than us. But we can win this game. Come on, you Spurs. Look, it's definitely not beyond the realms of impossibility. We did slap them 3-0 at their place. Different manager, which we'll get into. But, we've done it once before. Let's see if we can do it again. Ryan Garcia, Timo going to start. Now, if he starts, I don't think so after the Rangers game. I think, he'd probably be pretty much bounced out of here in January. I'll be surprised if he isn't. George Hill says, big up, lads. Hope you're keeping well. Let's keep this cup run or this cup train rolling into the semis. Come on, you Spurs. Hopefully it's non-stop express, my man. Big yourself up, Georgie. RXT says, Jack, back in the basement, lol. Back in the dungeon. We've got John Button. Good morning to you, Joff. By the way, everybody, it's Joff's birthday, so make sure you get on it and wish him a happy birthday in here. We've got Andy English 135 now. Evening all. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you, Andy. PH family. To win this trophy, we will have to beat City, Man United, then Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle in the next rounds. This is not a Mickey Mouse Cup. It would be an exceptional achievement to win this cup. Come on, you Spurs. You're absolutely spot on. But look, when we last won it, we bet Arsenal in the semis. We bet Chelsea in the final. So, you know, maybe we only do it when it's the hard way. PH family. We've got Cantab. Shame it's not Ten Hag. I definitely agree with that. Katie Davies liking the sweater, Jack. We've got Sebas Wolf. What's up? Let's put man divided in a spliff today. Come on, you Spurs. Look, thank God with the weather conditions, it's not up at Old Trafford. You know, you'd probably have to bring out the whole fucking, what's it called? What's a good mountain hiking gear? You know, you'd have to bring out the whole shop up there, Berghaus or something like that.
And the swim gear for the waterfall.
Yeah, and your armbands, you know, probably turn into a day at the water park. Monero says, hi, Irish and Cole, let's do this with the crowd roaring. We can do it. No negativity, please. Ryan Trestain says, big up, Dave. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw, then lose on pens. Can see it happening. It's so Spursy, like Hans says. It's who we are, mate. Archer, good to see you. I think we might win tonight, but I wouldn't fancy our chances in the semis over 2 legs against Liverpool or Woolwich. I would prefer Newcastle, but part of me also wants Arsenal. It's a bit romantic. I think we can do them over 2 legs. John 071, not looking forward to this game at all. We've got Regan says, if Spurs get knocked out, our season crumbles and we finish 14th in the league. I predict Spurs GCTV, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Afternoon, gents, tonight at home. Let's go. We've got Darren Johnson, nice hair, Jack. What happened, lol? Adam Phillips says, lads, it's United. Darius is in the house. Big up, Dave, Jack on the panel. Coys. Paddy Villas says, big up, lads. We've got this in the bag. Man, you shited, struggling. And then we also got Just a Harmless Spoke. Good evening. Big up, Dave, Jack, Soren, Dermot, and Donovan. Come on, you Spurs. Who else have we got here? Just make sure I'm not missing anybody. I did get the first half of the chat.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Quick run through. We've got Kiwi Spurs in here. Great to see you. We also have Altel Cockerell. Great to see you. Chris in the house as well. We also have Kilkenny Spurs. Big up, Kilkenny Spurs. Great to see you. Come on, boys. Let's bloody have it tonight. Not too far away from me, by the way. The Workers' Reading Room says, hello from Alberta, Canada. Let's get this done. Come on, you Spurs. Big up all the Canadians out there. We need every fan tonight singing behind it. Tell you, we've got Evil Din. I say we smash them 3-0 before the break. Oh, look, that'll be absolutely nice. It calm us all down. Spoon Dangler says, let's smash the effing United. Look, let's wait and see what happens. I'm pretty sure you weren't that happy when we smashed 3-0 up at your place. We took the freedom of Manchester. And not only that, you know, we also took all the roofers out of Manchester and brought them down to London to give them plenty of work on our stadium because your roof is absolutely in tatters right now. So in fairness, if I was you, I wouldn't be sitting there crowing. To be
if anything, Dave, we wish we were playing in Manchester. We own Manchester this year. We probably wish
we
were playing there.
True, we'd probably get the royal treatment, red carpet treatment, and everything up there. Big up, Dirty Sanchez. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have JM in the house. Big up, J-Bo. Good to see you, my man. Fat Tony in the house as well. As always, great to see you, Mr. Tony. Adrian Brown, the bus driver. Great to see you, my man. We'll need you when we go into Bilbao, my man. So make sure you're ready for the call. Big up, Ricky Nato, C-Max, Ian Ferguson. J-Mac is in the house as well. Good to see you, Jason Bell, HMQ as well. Future is bright, future's lily white. Hopefully that's the case tonight. Scooter Reacts and also the Big T in the house. Big up, everybody. Really appreciate the support. Let's get straight into it, Dermo. We're going to kick you off with a nice, easy one tonight. Today's game is the biggest of Tottenham's season so far as we welcome United to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with a semi-final spot at stake. Can Spurs secure another win against the Red Devils? And if so, what makes you so confident?
I don't know. I was looking through sort of videos on YouTube last night and today, and it came across the game we beat them in 1999 when Ginola scored that cracker of a goal against Man United. And that was a very good Man United side at the time under Alex Ferguson, by the way. That was the year we went on to win the League Cup. It was the same year Man United won the treble, by the way. So anytime the last time, so I feel confident we can beat United tonight. I don't think United are at their best, even though they did get a win against Man City on Sunday. I think anybody can beat Man City at the moment. I don't feel they're playing for Pep at all. I think they're they're tired, they're jaded, and he doesn't know what to do, so he's clueless up there. So look, tonight is about winning. I'm waffling because I'm so excited. So Spurs are going to win 3-0. I'm waffling. Just carry on, Dave. I don't know why I'm just waffling to start off with.
Dermot woke up this morning. He's in a different reality, different realm, different universe altogether.
Yeah.
You know, reality's completely gone out of his world. Driving in to do his little shopping this morning, you know, Spurs were on the way to Wembley, ignoring absolutely everybody else. So, you know, we do apologise for Dermot this evening. We'll see if we can get any sense out of him on the next question. He, as he says, he's waffling. But look, he's pumped up. You can't blame the man for being absolutely excited. You know, this is what we all got into supporting Tottenham for. You know, Tottenham have always been a great cup team in years gone by, not so much recently. Let's see if we can get back to that tonight.
I will talk sense later on. I do promise you. I will come down from this delusional wherever I am. Soren's shaking his head. I do agree with him, but I will try. Sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Jack, we've already faced United once this season and we beat them 3-0. Do we expect a similar game tonight, or will it be a much tougher challenge considering they've changed managers and bought in Ruben Amorim, for instance? You know, they now play a 5 across the back instead of a 4, so there's not going to be the space we hit them with out wide, you know, maybe under Amorim.
Yeah, I think Ruben Amorim is a far better manager than Erik ten Hag. I think he has solidified them a bit more defensively. Like, if you remember that Man United team, like, kind of what on their day they were pretty good at, usually just, you know, taking their chances, creating good chances on the counter, hurting teams that way. But they were always pretty leaky, especially in midfield. It felt like you could kind of just run, you know, through them quite easily. Casemiro was showing kind of the signs of being old. I think Kobe Mainu just wasn't really that sharp this season, also had some injury issues. So I just felt like maybe this United team was far easier to break down, far easier to beat, maybe under Ten Hag than Ruben Amorim. Since he's come in, it just feels like maybe certain players have been put in better positions. You look at, you know, Ugarte seems to be playing well because he was a former player for Ruben Amorim. You look at Diallo has all of a sudden kind of come into form. He's, you know, taking out some of the prima donnas, you know, the divas of the team, like Marcus Rashford, Garnacho. I think that's actually inspired some of the fans, inspired some of the players in and around the club. They're getting the best out of Mazraoui and people like that. So I think this United team is better. I'm not expecting us to smash them 3-0. That being said, though, I don't think they're still that great of a team. Like, on paper, I think a lot of those guys are only maybe inflated in terms of their, I guess, reputation or whatever, because they happen to play for Man United. I don't think many of them are actually that much better, if not better at all, than the majority of our players in the starting 11, especially, I would say, maybe more so in the midfield. I still think we have, you know, some strong players in there that should be able to take them. And even, you know, some areas in the fullback areas, like, I still question maybe Man United. So it should be a good game. But Ruben Amorim, Dave, maybe I expect this to be much closer because he's a savvy manager. Like, he's done really well in the Champions League. He's done really well against Antonio Conte, against some huge managers. He has Pep Guardiola's numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a trick or two up his sleeve against Ange Postecoglou. Like I said, though, I don't rate this Man United team very much.
Do you know what? I sort of agree with you to a certain extent. I think
I rate the manager, not the team, in short.
Yeah, I think Amorim's an absolute fantastic manager. I think he's done a brilliant job at Sporting, you know, and he's had a very sort of rapid rise throughout his managerial career. And look, you know, what he's doing with Rashford, he's also done at Sporting, you know, where he's got rid of some big players that weren't necessarily on board with him. And I think it's the right thing to do in terms of shaking it up over there. And I am weary. Look, United still have some quality players that on their day they can cause you troubles. Even though we beat them 3-0 up at their place, they still had chances. Garnacho hit the post. You know, they had a couple of shots on Vicario and made a couple of good saves before we went on to steamroll them. So I still am a little bit cautious. I think tonight they'll probably look to sit in and hit us on the counter and do what other teams have done to us. However, I think tonight's all about hard work. And, you know, just putting in a lot more energy than them. I think we proved that at Old Trafford. You know, that United team, when the going gets tough, they absolutely crumble, just like we do sometimes. But if we can get going nice and early, make it very difficult for them, not give them too much time to settle on the ball, try and create an early chance or two, really put them under pressure, and just willing to show that you're willing to outwork them, that United team will end up falling apart. However, Donovan, will come to you quickly on this, my man. I'm a bit nervous because we don't really have that many senior players off the bench to be able to change it tonight. So I think it's a little bit similar to Southampton, where I think we need to look to try and go at them in the first half and get the job done nice and early.
Yeah, there's no denying we have a injury list that's quite daunting. And yeah, youngsters are questionable, but this is a perfect opportunity for them to step up to the plate in a cup game at home. I think it's in our favor. and we've seen what a raucous atmosphere that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium can be on its day. I think we're going to need all 62,000. I think 850,000 of them behind them, chanting them. And regardless of what you think about Levy, whatever you think about Kulusevski, whatever the vibe is, we all agree that we have to unite today to get over United. And but I'm not too concerned. Like I've seen Archie Gray, and the lad is well beyond his years of 18 years old. He's got a footballing brain, and I have to concede humbly that there might be an 18-year-old in London that's better than a 27-year-old me here in Canada, right? And I can't wrap my head around that. It's absolutely crazy. The guy's oozes class with every touch. He always looks to play the ball out of the back, keep the ball in the deck, and actually play football first. When in likes before, you just see the academy kids almost just kind of trying too hard to bite at the bit, where they want to get their chance and they want to make that impact. And how many times have you seen that come back? You look at Jaffa Tanganga getting sent off against Crystal Palace. They're trying way too hard against Wilfried Zaha back in the day, right? But you see the calm, composed nature of Archie Gray, and it rubs off onto his teammates. And you see the senior center back next to him, Radu Dragusin, feeding off that confidence on a guy 4 years his younger. And I see Fraser Forster also having a big impact as well. He's no spring chicken. He's going to use his experience to lead us to that back line. And we're going to rely on those players to really get us over the line today. So I'm not too concerned. It's more of actually, ironically, Davo, it's the senior players I'm a little bit worried about. It's a Basuma that's coming back in the lineup today that I'm a little bit worried about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
is he not suspended for this one?
No, he's back.
Oh, I thought Ange said something about him being suspended.
No, it was only for the Southampton game. One game suspension due to accumulation.
I'm a week behind. Sorry.
No, it's okay, lad. No, he comes out and he says that he served a suspension. He's good to come back in, and we know on his day Basuma can absorb pressure and he can turn on the dime and really play that ball. But we also know he can overcommit and he can overcommit on challenges and be rash. So it depends what Basuma turns up today. But the youngsters like Sarr, he's playing well beyond his years. You got the new Yaya Toure regen. So yeah, I'm confident. I'm not too apprehensive at all when it comes to our youngsters.
No, look, I think what we're seeing is, some of the youngsters emerging as sort of leaders within the team. Papa Massar's been Mr. Consistent, Dejan Kulusevski, Mr. Consistent, Archie Gray stepped in and done well. I think what we're seeing is some of the youngsters, really stepping up and starting to take the reins, which is really good to see. And look, they've proven that they can do it against the best team. So let's see if they can step up again tonight. But you're also looking at the likes of Son, Madison, Dom Solanke to really step up tonight, drag this team forward. Even when things aren't going well, still look to get on the ball and make things work, make things happen rather than go hiding. So let's wait and see what happens tonight. But just quickly, I do want to bring Soren in, but I just want to welcome a few more people in. We've got Moondog. So good evening, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Let's do this 3-2 to us. Have you got a bet on tonight, Moondog? He's going to be our first scorer. Look, there very well could be goals tonight. I just hope that we have the answers, because I do fear that Amorim is probably going to set up with a back five, look to play on the counter. So I think it's crucial that, for instance, Dejan Kulusevski starts on the right over someone like Brennan Johnson, because Kulusevski can cross the ball, Johnson can't. I don't think there's going to be the space that Johnson and Werner were afforded at Old Trafford this time around. So, I think it all comes down to, do we have the answers to, beat that sort of low block? What I will say is, when United are pushed up on the ball and we do turn it over, we've got to go. We can't give it into someone like Basuma and let him dawdle around on the ball, take 2 pulls off his cigar before he wants to get moving again. He's just got to move that one touch, bam, move it forward, Moondog. Good to see you. We've got Stevie D in the house. Even the boys, is it me, or does this feel like the longest season ever? Have a good one, lads. It's because we're playing 2 games a week now, my man, every single week. It's absolutely relentless. But look, this is what we asked for and begged for last season. Good evening, Paul. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you and the missus are setting in nicely, into the new place, my man. Good to see you. We have Soul Sniper Gaming. How will you guys feel if we win today and set up 2 very tough games in January, which mean a crowded January, but lost versus Liverpool and Forest, and leave Spurs in 14th? Look, to me, it's all about, I want to win. I'm in it for trophies. The league, it's a bit of a sideshow for me this year. I want to see how we get on in the cup competitions. I really want to go after one. And to be honest with you, if we want to compete for trophies, you're going to have a crowded, you should expect to have 60, 70 games every single season. So, if we want to get into the rhythm of doing it, you've got to, you can't be we don't want to play extra games here. We want to prioritize here. That's not what winners do. You go after absolutely everything. Big up Derek Hutchinson. Good to see you. Mr. Cook is in the house. Great to see you as well. Along with K32, great to see you. South Stateside Footy, good to see you. Trinidad as well, great to see you. Then we also have Shem Tam in here. Great to see you, my man. He says we really need a strong performance tonight. We don't play very well versus back three, wing backs that we don't. We really, really need to see a great performance tonight. But Drew, over to you, my man. First of all, welcome in. Sorry it took me so long to get to you. But despite the setbacks this season, do you believe Tottenham is still on track for a successful season? Because as mad as it sounds, we're still in multiple competitions. We're in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup tonight. We have non-league opposition to progress to the fourth round of the FA Cup. We're only 5 points adrift off top four in the league, and we're ninth in the Europa League with 2 games still to play for to try and get out inside the top 8. Or am I just clinging on to hope?
Me, sorry.
Yeah, to you, my man. Do you think we can still have a successful season, or am I just clinging on to hope? Because when you look at the state of play, we're sort of still in everything, but we're not excelling in anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those seasons and time that we always say, well, the big teams win when they play ugly and they're not playing well and they get to win. We're not kind of being consistent in any way, whether we win, lose, draw, and it is going to be a long season. But tonight kind of starts to define our season. That doesn't matter what happens in January. It doesn't matter how hard the games become, because if we don't win tonight, we're out anyway. So I'd rather have a conundrum down the line and win tonight. I mean, for me, there's no other option other than winning tonight. We're Tottenham fans. Why shouldn't we want to win tonight? It's a quarter-final of a cup. Everybody's been screaming out for a cup. So we've got to win tonight. There's no other choice about it. And look, let's not pretend we're playing Man United. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are. Man United are still Man United. And they're always going to be a hard game. But as daft as it sounds, this season, Tottenham have kind of risen better against the better teams than they have against the ones we're supposed to beat. So I'd rather be playing Man United tonight than Southampton, for argument's sake, because you could just see that the players won't be up. We've got a lot of injuries, and that this is the time when you could sit here and say, well, we've got so many injuries, we can't put our first team out. Let's not be disappointed if we don't win tonight. But no, bollocks. There's no excuses tonight. Them players better turn up, because I'm fed up of trying to defend them. So it's kind of a win or bust tonight. That there is no option. We've got to win. We've got to win.
Do you know what? I fully agree with you. I think, one thing I know is Spurs fans love the cup, and if we go out, we get angry. I think all can be forgiven if they go out there and win tonight. People will forgive Basuma. People will forgive Madison. They'll forgive a lot of people probably forgive Postecoglou to a certain degree if we get over the line tonight. So I think it's very, very important. I think if they, for them players, just to sort of relieve the tension, get the good times back, take yourself off a little bit of pressure and give yourself some wriggle room to work. I genuinely agree with you. I think a win is a must tonight. I think if we lose, I think it can cause more pressure on the players, more pressure on Postecoglou heading into a very tough period with a lot of injuries. So, the win tonight would really sort of alleviate that. And also, just for Spurs fans' sake, give us something to get behind, give us something to be happy with over the Christmas. It'll almost make all the struggles feel worth it. Like I said earlier on in the show, if we can get to that semi-final, it's sort of like, look, we've had all the injuries. We've had absolutely everything thrown against us. We've still managed to navigate ourselves to the point where we're at now. And if we can just get to that semi-final, I think once you start getting players back, because in years gone by, when we usually get players back, the season's over, you see them come back with that lack of motivation, maybe a lack of hunger, a lack of desire. But I think if you've got the semi-final coming into the business end of the season, you've still got 2 games to get outside in the top 8 of Europa League. You've got an easy game against Tamworth in the FA Cup 3rd round. I think you get players coming back motivated, hungry. Dare I say it? Some probably coming back quicker because they're doing a lot more in rehab because they want to get back. You're going to have a lot more players focused, hungry to get into the starting lineup each week, and it could really do well for us. And it really sets itself up nicely for the second half of the season. I think if you lose tonight, I think it probably demotivates a lot of people, probably escalates everything. So I do agree with you, Søren. I think tonight is really, really important. Anyone else and anything you would like to add to that before we move on?
I thought that was a really good point, Dave. I just wanted to add that maybe it connects to a comment that you read aloud earlier, kind of about, maybe a hectic January. To be honest, like, I think what Spurs fans probably do want and what majority fan bases would want is to have big games, high profile games to look forward to on a kind of a regular basis, whether it's in the Champions League, whether it's a semifinal in a cup game, whether it's just a big Premier League clash, for a battle for top 4. You want to feel like your team is challenging for like high stakes games where like you have a lot to play for. There's a lot riding on the season, that sort of thing. And even if you end up losing those big games, at least you did get to participate in those big games. At least you did get to reach that point. And that probably, like you say, maybe even motivates the players to try better the next time or do better the next time or learn from mistakes. What's kind of been happening with Spurs is maybe in the last few years or so, it's not like we really have that many high profile games that we really, have on a regular basis. We don't reach that many semifinals. We're not reaching that many huge pinnacle moments in the season. It feels like our season kind of peters out, quite easily, at a certain point. And then all of a sudden we kind of just grow a little bit sort of numb to it all, numb to the team. And so, to be honest, like you say, this is a massive game for everyone involved, for Ange, for the players, because to have a semifinal to look forward to, even if it is against an Arsenal or against a Liverpool, someone who we might not even be that confident against, at least we are in a semifinal. At least we do have a huge game to look forward to. Like tonight. Tonight's a huge game to look forward to, and be nice to have more of these this season.
No,
I mean, I remember just very quickly, Dave. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you.
No,
look, I'm young enough, old enough to remember like having this on a regular basis, like. And this is the thing. These are really special nights. I've gone to White Hart Lane when on a cup semi-final or a cup quarter-final or European night. And there are special nights under the lights at the Lane. There's something about tonight and these nights. It just brings out something in the air. And I feel sorry for like Jack and you that haven't seen many of these nights. I mean, I was 7 when we won the UEFA Cup. And I remember the buzz around for weeks afterwards. We're champions of Europe, like, and it's such a buzz. I remember when we won an FA Cup, it was like, it was something special. The road to Wembley, everything about it. And these are the games we want as fans. These are the games that we really look forward to. And we haven't had it because I think the players haven't had the winning mentality. The managers haven't been bothered. They've always sacrificed the League Cup and the FA Cup for the Champions League. Ange is the first manager to come in and say, no, I'm taking these cups seriously. We're going to see, can we go and win the competition? And he's doing right. And this is what you get. You get these nights, and these are special. And this is what it's all about as being a fan.
And that's
dreaming of Wembley.
When you hear the Chaz and Dave song and going to Wembley, that there is no, we can all sing it now. But when you're actually going to Wembley and you sing that song, it's, I remember back in the day when that song came out and things like, and we were singing it and it meant something. It doesn't matter which cup it is. It's about going to Wembley, and we are long overdue. And tonight, look, it's kind of not about Big Ange. Hopefully he gets it right. Tonight is about those players on the pitch. If they do not show up, then there is no excuse.
And I agree. I don't want to hear any excuses for them. That it's Postecoglou's tactics, this, that, and the other. They came out themselves, said, we want to win trophies. You've also got to show the same hunger, same desire. Even if you don't vibe with the tactics, you go out there and make it work if you want to win trophies like you say you do. Winners, they're all about, trying to make it work, fit in where they can. So hopefully he can do that tonight, some of these players, because, they did speak about trophies, so they better not let us down tonight. Alpesh Patel says, good evening, everyone. A cold night, off to the game in a few minutes. We need to just be consistent for a win. Which Spurs team will show up? Nobody knows. Come on, you Spurs. Do you know what? I was thinking about that last night. That's the more difficult thing for me because, I want to sit here. I want to be braggadocious. I want to sit here with my chest out, just basically being cocky, confident. Anyone that comes in, rival fans, just sort of run them out of here with just, trophies and stuff like that. And it's hard. when you're inconsistent, because it's hard to be like that. I just want to get back to where we were under Pochettino. You just rock up to a game. It's like, yeah, to be honest, it really doesn't matter what the opposition are doing, because I know what we're doing, and we're shit hot. We know we're going to win this, and that's where I want to get back to as a Spurs fan. Alpesh Patel, hopefully you go tonight, get involved in the sing song, my man, and generate a huge atmosphere. Even if you maybe not be a singer, I get it. There's people there that are not singers, and that purely get it. But just let the inhibitions go tonight, my man. It's Christmas. It's a magical time of the year, and we want a semi-final. So make sure you add to that atmosphere, Alpesh, tonight. Big up, my man, and enjoy yourself. Big up, Eugene, as well. Really appreciate support. We've got 2 channel memberships gifted out by Peter Kikayas. Who have they gone to, Jacko? Big up, Peter. Good to see you, so and really appreciate the support and the generosity, people. Make sure you say thanks to Peter.
Everybody, take advantage of it too. Send in the fan cams, come on the fan shows, please. Everybody, take advantage of it. Also, while we go into the January break, where there's plenty of members content. Rav D gifted one. Great name, by the way, Rav D. Thank you to Peter, and also this guy's been a member plenty of times. So big up to Stephen Wilson being gifted one by the likes of Peter, and then Dermatron has also come in here. Dave, thank you so much, Dermatron. Laura B has been gifted one. Big up to Laura B, and then also Ryan McFarlane, I'm guessing, or Ryan Mac F. Great name. Yeah. Big up to Ryan.
Well, it might not be McFarlane, but that's what he's going to be known as now.
There are a lot of McFarlanes.
He's from Derry. He's from Derry. I know him. He's from Derry.
Well,
so it's McFarlane.
Could get worse than that last names than that. So at least Jack picked a nice one. But guys, make sure you say thank you to Peter and Dermot for the generosity. Peter, Ricky Nato is saying can feel it coming tonight. Hopefully so. Ricky Nato, but really appreciate the generosity, guys. Like I said, guys, if there's anything you would like us to discuss, or anything you want to bring up on screen, make sure you get it in, and we will do that. But guys, I do want to talk a little bit about the atmosphere tonight, because Return of the Chef is an organization that's been trying to do something for a long time. On our Spurs song sheets have tried to do something, for European games. And then also Postecoglou has also spoke about the atmosphere tonight. So I want to get into it a little bit. And we'll start with you on this, Soren. There is a meetup organized by the Return of the Chef tonight at Gate 253 for anybody that is going in the South Stand to sing and create atmosphere for tonight's game. But Soren, how important is it that, the fans build a loud, energetic atmosphere tonight, similar to the unforgettable atmosphere that we created against Arsenal years ago when Gary Neville, as Gary Neville put it, the Tottenham fans brutalized that Arsenal team? How important is it that everything else is put aside tonight, and you get behind the boys, create that loud, raucous atmosphere? Because if I'm correct, and I know I'm correct because I went back and checked it today, they actually put in acoustic panels up around the top of the stadium to reverberate the noise created inside. But a lot of people seem to be giving out about the atmosphere, especially over the last couple of seasons, or since we moved to the new stadium even.
Look, we all know that the Spurs fans can be some of the best supporting fans out there. I mean, the away fans are absolutely incredible. And I still get goosebumps when you hear the noise that was created that game against Arsenal. It was terrifying. It was emotional. It was exciting. It was everything. And, to say the crowd can be a 12th man. I mean, that game against Arsenal, we were the 12th, 13th, and 14th. It was like a rugby match with the amount of extra noise that we created. And look, some of the nights at the Lane, those European nights, it was incredible. And that's what we need tonight. We need that crowd to be behind the players. Look, I get all the booing sometimes, and I get the commotion over Levy out and things like that, but tonight is not that night. Full time, fair enough. If it's been a bad game, but it's one of those that while we're in the game tonight, we need to be behind those players. We need to be pushing them on, and we need to be showing those players why we support them. It's quarter final of an League Cup. We're asking the players to show up for us. Well, we need to show up for them as well. And tonight there's no excuses for the crowd. You get behind them. We need to be making them players want to play for us, And if we don't do our part, then it's hard to moan about them not doing their part. But I honestly believe it's going to be electric in there today. I don't think the fans won't let us down. They never do. They'll be singing their hearts out. I think it's going to be absolutely electric in that stadium tonight, and I just hope the players turn up for the fans, because they deserve. The fans deserve it. There is no better fan support out there than Tottenham fans. So I just hope that from half an hour before the match, them fans are singing. Let them Man United players hear that crescendo going. Turn up the volume, turn up everything. Just give it all. Just give it all tonight. And look, if we get through tonight, we'll ask for it again. But tonight's the night for not just the fans to turn up, for the players, for Ange, for everybody connected to Tottenham Hotspur. Turn up tonight and let's see what we can do. Look, we could go out there, we could absolutely batter Man United, and we're all sitting here saying, oh, we don't want to play Liverpool, we don't want to play out. They'll be turning around and saying, we don't want to play Tottenham, because if we beat Man United tonight and that noise is in the stadium and we've got the weaker team, then why not? Why can't it be our year?
100%. And look, some people say the 12th man is a cliche, but I actually think it holds a lot of sort of weight in terms of, we went to Galatasaray, but as soon as we drew that game, before we even went out there, before we even put our backsides onto a plane seat, everyone goes, oh, that's going to be tough because of the atmosphere. Not many teams can go out to Turkey and handle that sort of atmosphere. We done it to Arsenal, underneath Antonio Conte, chasing for top four. The fans absolutely made it a cauldron. So the atmosphere can have a massive effect. And I do agree. I think tonight should be all about the team. Look, during the Southampton games, the Levy chants were going right throughout the game. And look, rightly so in a game like Southampton, I think, look, you expect to beat them and stuff like that. But I think for tonight, I would urge anyone that is going, to park it until after the game. After the game, be my guest, do what you want, make whatever sound you want. But for that 90 minutes tonight, I think it's got to be all about just creating that electric, raucous sort of atmosphere inside that stadium. It's what it was purposely built for. There was a lot of planning put into it to, make it as loud as maybe some of the destinations we go to across Europe. Ibrox, for instance, the other night was absolutely electric as well. In fact, a lot of their fans were quite disappointed with the Spurs support, saying it was quiet, calling them out all across social media. They said it's one of the worst supporter groups that they've had to that stadium in quite some time. And a lot of fans are sort of complaining about the atmosphere. And Ange Postecoglou also came out today, or in his pre-match press conference, and Postecoglou said that he believes the home supporters play a crucial role and urged the fans to create a hostile atmosphere for tonight's clash. He said, I would love it to be like Galatasaray. I've spoken about the atmosphere we had at Galatasaray and Ibrox. I'd love it to be our atmosphere on Thursday, because it will definitely help us overcome a tough opponent in a massive game. Now, I know Return to the Shelf, like I said, are organising something tonight, and they're at a bit of loggerheads with the club, because the club want to put on a light show tonight just before kickoff. And their argument is, we've had this before, and it sort of quells out the noises of the fans, especially when you double down with the DJ and all that sort of jazz. Even if you want to have your light show, let the fans be out there generating that atmosphere. Let it bubble. But it looks like the club are set to ignore them, just like they did with that singing section when they were trying to make it work for the singing section for the Roma game, things again at loggerheads. So there's, many different reasons why, it hasn't worked out, trying to bring that atmosphere from White Hart Lane into the new stadium. But I want to know if you guys, and look, we'll get Jack, Dermot and Donovan in on this as well as Soren. Why do we struggle to create atmosphere the way like we've seen other clubs do? For instance, Rangers, Galatasaray, a lot of the clubs across continent we go across, their fans are absolutely fanatical, bouncing up and down with flares, win or lose. They could be 4-0 down and they're still standing there in the piss and rain with their t-shirts off, with holding flares. Why at Tottenham do we sort of struggle to generate that atmosphere? And look, some people would say it's not just Tottenham, it could probably Premier League wide, because there is an argument to it, because there is a lot of clubs trying to put in artificial fan noises, trying to play, like, for instance, we're trying to bring in the trumpet, and probably bring me in on a triangle next, so there is a lot of clubs trying to artificially generate the atmosphere. So it does seem to suggest that, maybe the atmosphere is dying in the English game a little.
I think it is dying, like, a little bit in general, but I just wanted to quickly touch on, like, the, Return to the Shelf and Spurs song sheets distancing themselves from the club, if not like basically tearing up their relationship with the club. I actually do think subtly and maybe a less noticeable way, that actually is a pretty huge moment and a pretty huge step, because these guys are in a way trying to bridge some sort of gap between the relationship of the fans and the club. But if these people have basically had enough and are fed up and just feel like they just would rather just do it organically, do a kind of more grassroots kind of style without having any sort of real club recognition, I think that's a real like slap in the face to the club. And I think that's going to draw some attention, around the fan base, because these people will be loved and cherished and are respected by fellow fans. And when these people are now saying, you know what, the club don't care about us, we can't even feel like we can do what we want to with them anymore. We can't even find like a common agreement. Can't find, no one can shake hands over everything. We're just done with them. I think that's really bad for the club. And I think that's really bad for Daniel Levy. So to be honest, I just think that's a bit of a watch this space scenario for me, because I wonder if that's going to manifest to even more noise around Daniel Levy, even more noise around the club. The fact that those people have now separated their ties. But in general, Dave, like, I mean, you and I have said this, like certain atmospheres in the English game feels like a bit overrated in comparison to like European ones, like in the Bundesliga, Syria, Turkey, like you brought up with the Ibrox and Celtic, etc. But like, for example, Liverpool, like so many times, like when I remember under Jurgen Klopp as well, like you would kind of be told that the Anfield atmosphere is, this intimidating one. It really doesn't sound that way sometimes. You feel like you can hear a pin drop, during like the 20th or 30th minute. Same thing sometimes with even Old Trafford. Feels like you can hear a pin drop. The only real like maybe Premier League grounds that sound loud on a regular basis, or maybe like Selhurst Park, maybe it would be one of them. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's because they got a drummer. That guy's arm. He must just do arm day at the gym every week.
And it's maybe just more traditional, like just the manner of the stadium and everything like that, kind of a fan base that maybe doesn't have like, highest of expectations. But to be honest, I just think like in general, the game doesn't feel like it's as intense or as loud or just simply as intimidating as it used to be. It feels like it's always just been, and to be honest, people have said this, like, I don't know too much, but people have said the UK fans are very much like watchers of the game. They're not like, the Germans who are like drinking beer and singing, up and down for like 90 minutes. They are sitting there actively analyzing the game and watching the game. And maybe it's just become more and more of that and less of singing and screaming and things like that.
They've no option but to sit there and analyze the game because the bar is closed. You can't bring beers into the stadium. And I do think there's a part to play with that. Whether people like it or not, beer makes you merry, it makes you jolly sometimes and stuff like that. So, it probably does have something to do with it. I'm going to take a few of the comments from the people at home. And then, guys, feel free to pop in with anything you want to say off the back of that. My dad says, hope the trumpet player turns up tonight. No excuses. No excuses for anybody not to turn up tonight. It doesn't matter whether it's the 19th of December. I want to see him up there with a hat and scarf on like your man out at Home Alone playing that trumpet. It doesn't matter if it's cold up there. We've got Adam Phillips says, less tourists in their stadiums. We'll get onto that. I know Drew's nodding his head. King Huddle says, exactly, Dave. Don't sully this game with the anti-Levy board protest to be to their detriment of our team. Do that outside or afterwards. And look, to be fair, I think there has been that recognition. I think Change for Spurs, they did specifically target the Liverpool game. And I think that was designed not to do anything around the quarterfinal, to get behind the team and stuff like that. So, in fairness, Change for Spurs, they did organise it for the Liverpool game, 3 p.m. across from the club shop. If anybody is interested to go down there and express, your unhappiness with the owners and that. So, that is there if people, and I think there has been a recognition, to be fair, King Huddle. And then Steve Fraser says, Levy doesn't like the raucous side of the fans. For me, it's important. I think that's certainly, true for sure. I think, in football in general across the UK, they've been trying to kick the raucous fans out and just have, obedient people turning up every single week. Soren, we'll get Dermot and Donovan in, and then I'll bring this back to Soren because I know Soren is shaking his head and he wants to touch on it. Dermot and Donovan, atmosphere. What's your thoughts?
Look, firstly, I slightly will disagree with Soren on that tourist thing because he can class me and Dave as tourists going over to the game. He can class Jack as a tourist going over to the game. I don't think tourists make a damn bit of difference in the new stadium.
Do you sing when you're over there, Dermo?
No, I think you're missing the point of the tour. I don't think it's people like you and coming, your Spurs supporters. A lot of the tourists that they're talking about are ones that are maybe just coming over to see Sonny, and that's all they're not Tottenham fans. They're just there to see Sonny and think. You're a totally different aspect to that, I think.
Yeah, see, you can get.
You're right. Adam Phillips has confirmed what he means.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem if they want to come over and see Sunday. I really have no problem with that. The fans come over for if it's their first trip or an only trip. I don't have a problem with that. It's down to them. They want to come. I get what you're saying, Soren, though. I understand what you're getting at.
Daniel Levy's trying to turn them into proper Spurs fans because, he's brought in Kim Min-hyuk now as well. Yeah. And they brought in Squid Games as the sponsorship and that. So, he's trying to turn them into lifelong fans.
Yeah. On the atmosphere side of it, it was different at White Hart Lane. It's not the same at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it never will be the same. White Hart Lane was unique because it was the stadium was tightly packed. You were on top of the ground. It was a bit like Upton Park back in the day. I know somebody put it into the ground. And it was a bit probably like Highbury as well back in the day. It was tight. And the noise generated in White Hart Lane was unique. You would never get it anywhere else. You hear the start of at Anfield, you never walk alone. I mean, that sends tingles down your spine. Even as a football fan, if you're there watching the neutral game like Liverpool against, I don't know, Man United, say, on Sky on the Sunday, that still gets the tingles down your spine when they're doing that before the game. Wish there was something like that up at Tottenham. But this new stadium, I've always had something about the new stadium. It doesn't generate the atmosphere like it says it does. It is too quiet. For me, too many fans are just sitting on their hands. You try to get an atmosphere going, and it just doesn't get going. And I think a lot of them, I think football fans have changed over the years too. It wasn't like when I was a kid going to the grounds in the 80s and 90s. It was totally different to the football fans of today. And maybe standing had something to do with that. All standing, there was a better atmosphere when it was all standing. I think the atmosphere changed when it went to all-seater, and rightly so as well, because of Hillsborough and the other disasters around that time. And change had to be made, and we had to change it for safety. But I think something has to do with the fans of today. It's different. It's not like when I was going to a game when I was 15, 16, 17. The atmosphere before a Tottenham match was electric. You'd be in the shelf for the East Stand, you'd be in the South Stand or the North Stand or the Paxton Road end. And they'd be all singing to one another. And they don't do that now. I don't hear that at the new stadium. The Paxton Road singing to the East Stand, or the East Stand singing to the South Stand, or the South Stand singing to the West Stand. White Hart Lane was so unique in that aspect of football and the way the atmosphere went around that stadium. Daniel Levy may be proud in the new stadium, but damn right he hasn't got the atmosphere right there. I think he's.
Can I ask you though, Dermo, because look, I get Daniel Levy takes a lot of blame for stuff at the club, and look, rightly so. But I don't think you can actually put the atmosphere down to him to a certain degree, because when he built that stadium, if you go back and watch the documentary, they put special stuff in that stadium to, what's enhanced the sound that the fans make. They built a big one-tier stand in the South Stand, like the Dortmund do, for the fans to sort of generate that atmosphere.
Encourage atmosphere.
So I don't think we can blame Levy on this one. And I get what people are saying, because look, I was at White Hart Lane right up until it was knocked down. Each stand was singing to each other and stuff like that. Could it be that this just doesn't feel like home because we don't have the history that we had at White Hart Lane? Yeah. Do you think that's a massive part to playing it, lads?
I've said that a lot. I think I've said it with you as well, haven't I, Soren? I think you and me have both said it, that it doesn't feel like home. I've said it on multiple occasions. I'd rather have White Hart Lane back any day of the week.
Because if you go back to last season, those first 10 games, it was getting noisier and noisier. And
it was,
So the winning and the consistency of winning will bring the noise back. And that's the problem at the moment, that since we've been in the new stadium, let's not forget, the first 2 seasons, basically, there were no fans. And then we've gone in and the football has been dire. There's been nothing to actually sing about. And that's the problem with the new ground, that so far we've had nothing to sing about. Now, we say that the atmosphere has been rubbish. Again, we go back to that Arsenal game. That night or that afternoon was absolutely electric. And That's what we need to get back. The stadium will give us an electric atmosphere, but it needs the team to do the work on the pitch. And when the team start doing it on the pitch, the atmosphere will come.
Yeah.
I think tonight, if you win
to a
tonight,
stadium where the fans don't know if we're going to win, lose, or draw, that's the problem. That they've got nothing to sing about. We've got nothing to be proud about at the moment. If we go on and win the cup, if we go on and do well in the league, and we're starting to see and what Postecoglou is telling us he wants to build, the atmosphere will come.
I mean, if you go back to '84, we played the UEFA Cup second leg final at White Hart Lane. If you had that type of final at that stadium would be rocking. And I remember White Hart Lane rocking that night. It rocked to its foundations. Tottenham, if Tottenham win tonight and win the semi-final, say against Arsenal, in the semi-final to get to Wembley, you will hear that stadium rocking all the way to Wembley. And you hit the nail on the head, Dave. I've got no history with that stadium. I have a history of White Hart Lane. Until we start winning stuff at the new stadium, and then I think I can call it home. It's always White Hart. I don't call it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I call it White Hart Lane. That's what it always has been. That's what it always will be. And why they never renamed it White Hart Lane when they built the new stadium is beyond me. Because if they called it that would have made it feel like home. Calling it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium doesn't feel like home to me. Never has. It never will be. It's White Hart Lane. Should always be White Hart Lane and should be named White Hart Lane because it's built on top of White Hart Lane.
I feel like it is more, though, down to what we brought up with history. There's not really been a whole lot accomplished there, so it doesn't really bring that sort of sense of attachment to the stadium. But I think it also comes down to even what Evil Din has said here. Our atmosphere, he says, is one of the better ones in the Premier League, especially when we go on a streak of good results. And I think it's definitely down to that. We've been in sort of limbo and just roller coaster nature for the past 3 or 4 years, basically since the opening of the stadium. We've had no stability. We've had a manager every season and a half. We go through really good spells and then we go through some really torrid spells. So to be honest, there hasn't really been much of a chance to actually say that there really is, an incredible atmosphere or a bad atmosphere, because to be honest, fans are very much influenced by the results and the streaks, and Spurs are a very streaky team. So there would be games where we roll in and we're saying, oh my God, that was the most incredible atmosphere I've ever seen. And then the next game we lose to Ipswich Town at home. And then the fans will be like a little bit, sorrow and a little bit sort of, down the next time they roll over to the stadium. I do think that's just by nature. And also it's just the fact that we haven't won anything, in this stadium. So there's not really that feeling that this is a fortress or this is like, our ground, that people have to really earn something to get something from. We haven't necessarily had that because we're such a streaky team and no one has any real confidence in probably whatever we're trying to build there. And also, this is the other thing. Daniel Levy, when he built the new stadium, we thought eventually we would start to see, I don't know, for example, we don't want to rehash this, but the Ezes, the Netos, whatever of the world, we thought would be coming to this ground. But now you're sitting in a very expensive ticket, a very expensive ground, and you're watching Timo Werner or Brennan Johnson as like your top choices to pick from when it comes to the forward line. I mean, that's just an indictment, I think, of also, the fans not really being that excited. I think a lot of times the fans are rolling into the ground nervous, and I don't blame them for rolling into the ground nervous because we're a streaky team and we have a lot of players that probably shouldn't even be in this team in the first place. So
see,
I think it's down to that, really.
Sorry.
I think it's down to the team, and I think it's down to the streakiness, really.
So very quickly before Donovan comes in, sorry, Donovan, but I remember the likes of going to the lane watching Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, Tony Galvin, Steve Perryman, Graham Roberts, Tony Parks, may I say, who was a hero in '84, Ray Clements, Steve Perryman, Ozzy Ardiles, them players that would put you on the edge of your seat. When Glenn Hoddle got the ball, there was so much, I don't know if someone can remember, I probably can, but the electric that went around that stadium when he got the ball, because you never knew what magic he was going to come up with. He would spin a 50-yard pass out of nowhere straight to Ozzy Ardiles' feet or Tony Galvin's feet. And you'd be and the electric that built with that and built with that and built with that. We don't have that. And Jack is spot on. When you do have players like a Werner and, may I say, Johnson, who will come good eventually, it doesn't get you on the edge of the seat. It doesn't build that excitement.
Yeah.
And this is where I feel so sorry for younger fans, because I've seen the best. And I know you lot haven't, me and Soren have, and the rest of you, I've been stuck with mediocre players like recently. And for me, sorry, Dave. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across.
No. I was just going to say, like, the thing is, I've seen great players at White Hart Lane as well. You know, I was privileged to see the likes of David Ginola, Luka Modric, Gareth Bale, you know, Aaron Lennon, Robbie Keane, you know, Dimitar Berbatov, Michael Carrick, Ledley King. You know, I've seen great players at White Hart Lane. I just feel like in this new stadium, we haven't quite matched that caliber of player. I haven't quite matched the exciting players that we're used to seeing at Tottenham. I regularly speak about this. You know, at Tottenham growing up, one thing I won't accept with Tottenham Hotspur now is having a piss-poor striker. We've always had a great striker, regardless of the defensive midfield we've had. We've always had a great striker to bag goals and get us out of trouble. You know, we've always had great, exciting wingers that could take on their man, put a ball in, you know, skin two players and put one in the back of the net. We've always had them sort of renegade players. Right now, I think we're starting to get back to a point, but I think we halted it in the summer, and it's a shame, really. You know, hopefully we can go again and add to it in January. But I do think, you know, the caliber of players that we're seeing now, considering we were told it was going to be a game changer in that regard, I do think is a lot less quality than what we were paying to witness at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, no, it's like I just kind of sit back and listen to all these arguments because honestly, I'm fall into that camp. Sorry, and so graciously put, the tourist trap fan, right? So I firmly believe that from an outsider looking in, that this new stadium is, it doesn't have the capture of the old White Hart Lane. Like, it's so iconic watching the drone footages of this classic 1900 style football stadium amongst like London, right? Like seeing such a tight knit squad come out, the fans are right on top of you. My mind takes me back. I'm a younger fan, Dermo, but my mind takes me back to the last season at the Lane, and like the magic that stadium brought. Like, how many times did we see the ball get sucked into that end at the very end? Like, I'm thinking of that United comeback, right, to seal that unbeaten run in our final stadium, and what a send off, by the way. So yes, I unfortunately wasn't there to see the trophies. I wasn't there to see the greats play in the stadium. But when it comes to great football cathedrals, White Hart Lane is right up there with the San Siro, right up with the new camp, right up with La Bombita in Argentina. But without rambling, I think the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, now branded, is just a natural evolution of football. It's the natural evolution of our club, right? Like, I don't agree with you, Dermo, when it comes to the fact that we should have renamed it White Hart Lane. I think that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a perfect evolution. Like, we've grown as a football club, and we've grown into this new stadium. And as for the history, like, we haven't won any silverware there yet, but we do have some history building in this stadium. We still have the Puskas goal, like the Sonny Puskas goal. We have these little moments we can cling on to. Sure, it's not the glory of a cup, but it's stuff that we have to build towards to get there. I'm looking at the results of the Arsenal game, you know, like, that's such a brutalization of a team that was challenging for top four. And it really showed us that, like, our process was better. Like, they built the Emirates 10 years before, but we're the new kids on the block, so to speak, when it comes to that kind of cash generating machine, but we're still doing it better. The City won nothing. I still remember watching Pep Guardiola's side, that were Centurions at the time, walking out and just their jaws dropping in shell shock, and they couldn't focus on the pre-match warm-up because they're so taken back by the glory of our stadium, glory Tottenham Hotspur. I'll still remember the tifos up in that south stand of Dream, Dare, Do. Like, it's a beautiful, marvelous stadium, and its beauty and architectural just genius is next to none in world football. Hugo Lloris is saved during that game. That being said, are there aspects that can be brought into the modern era that reflect and honor the past? I think so. I think Daniel Levy has criminally underestimated the power and the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the respect that a club of this nature deserves. I'm talking about statues. okay, like I think having bronze statues in front of the stadium and all around the block that he's owned now, went out of his way to purchase, needs to be a thing. I'm thinking Harry Kane. I'm thinking the likes of a Ginola. I still don't understand why Jimmy Greaves isn't honored the way he should be.
And Bill Nick,
There's a obvious one.
Arthur Rowe, Steve Perriman. I agree with you on that, Donovan.
The
Absolutely
list,
spot
the
on.
list. 1 second there, Dermo. The list goes on and on. And those gates, I wasn't alive there in that Dermo. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to these gates, but I've seen the pictures and I've seen the documentary of father and son walking hand in through with his kid on his shoulder, bringing him to the lane, right? That needs to be there. And we need to somehow bring the history that White Hart Lane deserves into this new stadium. But as for this new stadium, it's just marvelous, and it's one of those things where you don't realize what you have until you don't. And I do agree with you, Jack. It's really disappointing that we have this catch editing machine, but we just haven't been that ambitious in the transfer market when it comes to it, right? Look at my Antonio Conte rubbing off on me. But the realism going forward is that we have a January transfer room coming up that we have no idea what's going on. We have a fan base now that's chanting that we're at a weird spot now. It's like we have a fan base that is behind the manager, fully behind the manager, but we're still obviously against the ownership group, and it's such a weird moment. So now we have Daniel Levy. We're almost forcing his hand now. It's like, over to you, Levy. You can't use your scapegoat. You can't sack this manager. You can't hide. You can't deflect. So now, like, buck up and invest in his first team, because we need it. And yeah, a bit of a long-winded there, but yeah, I agree with a lot of your points there. Cheers, Demo.
Yeah, go on, Donna.
No, we're good. We're good.
No.
Me?
Okay. No, well, look, I was going to say, Donovan, I definitely agree with, could he have incorporated more of our history into the stadium? I definitely think so. I think the only history he's really incorporated is when you walk in the main door, where all the business people walk in. He's got a couple of nods there. That's about it. Look, they're talking about they brought back the clock, haven't they? I think they're talking about trying to bring back the gates and stuff like that. But I definitely think, a couple of statues would go a long way to maybe appeasing Spurs fans. But when you've got Beyonce fans coming, Tyson Fury fans coming, you've got Formula One fans coming, etc., rock climbing fans, you're going to have Disney fans, that's why he doesn't put up the likes of the statues, because it's a multi-purpose football venue. He doesn't want it to be known for one specific thing, which is a kick in our teeth, because, we were here long before anybody, and it was always about the football before it became about the business. But look, we're going to take a few comments here from the people tuning in at home, and then we are going to take a minute to plug our sponsorship for this month, which we're very grateful for, which is NordVPN. Rayman says, heyo, I'm on my way to White Hart Lane. Let's go. Big up, Rayman. Let's have it, my man. We've got Big D in the house. What's the crack, Dave? Jack on panel. Happy match day. Big up, Big D. Great to see you. Phil Coy says the atmosphere was better at White Hart Lane for sure. Very different at the new stadium. A lot of hardcore fans have been priced out for me. We've got K32. What's this tourist shit? I'd love to be able to go to Spurs games every week, but I can't yet. I've been over to Spurs from Ireland loads of times, followed Spurs for nearly 46 years. We've got Andy English 135 being at number 8 before kickoff with the Swedes, Danes, Irish, etc. is a massive boost. They do bring something special to the games. We've got Raven. We will get back to that. Do not worry. We've got What's the Story? Big up my old lad. He says the excitement of a new stadium is worn off. The fans are looking to the pitch now for excitement. A bit more consistency might wake them up. No, look, 100%. We're definitely looking at them for excitement. I mean, that's why I get, over the last few years, it's hard to look at them for excitement. When you're looking like the Harry Winks, I don't think he gets his missus excited, let alone someone like me. When you look at Timo Werner, I mean, it doesn't really give you a chubby, does it? David Ginola, long, luscious hair. You just smell it from the stands when he's running by. That gives you sort of a stiffy. Luka Modric, 4'9", running around 6 foot odd lads, making a show of them. That gives you a stiffy, not players that can barely pass a ball 5 yards. Rayman says, I'm a season ticket holder at White Hart Lane, regularly did 10 games per season before Wembley. It's no different to now how it was. Spurs atmosphere has always been driven by performance from my 20-plus years experience. Sad, but true. Big up, James. Tottenham supporters need to get off their seats and make noise tonight. Hotspur J says, evening all, massive game tonight. We also have Paolo Marotti says, controversial tip, but if we win a League Cup and the Europa League, we will look back in history and the BJs and Vernons will be our legends. Silverware cements your legacy. Yeah, it's pretty much true. Michael from Poland says, I think the stadium just lacks personality right now. White Hart Lane had history, had our club all over it. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium just feels a bit soulless and historyless. We need to make it absolutely spot on, Michael. And we also have Stefan Blois. If we do win this trophy, nobody can say it doesn't mean anything with the sides left in it. Imagine beating Arsenal in the final to end the trophy drought. Homer Simpson drooling face. I mean, that would be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That would absolutely kill them. That would send them and probably put the nail in the coffin of Arteta's reign, to be quite frank. But yeah, no, that would be fanciful stuff. Although I kind of wouldn't mind a little bit of a repeat of the one we went on to win against Chelsea back in 2008. Then we beat Arsenal in the semi-final. We absolutely rollicked them, and then we went on to beat Chelsea in the final. So, why not give us Arsenal in the semi-final again? Nostalgia, history could give us the boost we need heading into that final. But big up, guys. Really interesting conversation. So thank you, everybody, for that. But while we're speaking of the 12th man, I am going to bring you the 12th man in terms of VPN. It's the only VPN that is there for you. And the reason why I absolutely love them is because not only are they the fastest VPN on the market, but also they're the most secure and they're not greedy. They'll put it across 10 devices, not just one. So that means you and your whole family can access it. And basically what a VPN is, when you're traveling or when you're in different countries and stuff like that, different locations, sometimes you'll see when you go to access your own subscriptions that you have, sometimes it comes up, this is not available in your region. Well, NordVPN can help you counter that because you can just change your VPN address back to your home one. And especially since there's going to be a lot of people over the Christmas traveling everywhere, all over the world, you could just put yourself back to your home IP address and tune in and watch your TV shows as normal. And those who don't have it, I recommend this is the time to get it. You've got the big fight on the weekend, Tyson Fury and Usyk. For us guys following Tottenham Hotspur, there's regular 3 p.m. blackouts, which surprisingly enough, they don't happen in other countries. So you can go and buy cheaper subscriptions and stuff like that for all of your sporting entertainment and needs to suit yourself over the Christmas, because there's going to be NFL, basketball, the whole shebang. So you don't want to miss out on that. So get your VPN, shop around. But some would say, Dave, is it safe? Is it secure? Well, it's a bit like Toby Alvarado and Jan Vertonghen all them seasons ago. It's just as secure as that. They really care about your security. It allows you to shop around, put all your banking details, etc., in a nice, secure environment. So you do not have to worry about NordVPN. They will sort all that out for you. And lastly, when we're watching stuff, no one likes buffering. No one likes that big, stupid circle on the screen going around. It makes you dizzy. Well, you can avoid that because one of the pros of NordVPN is no buffering and bandwidth throttling throughout your stream, which to all the tech nerds out there is very important and the reason why you suffer buffering. So that's everything. If you do want to get a VPN, and it does sound good, and I've made it appealing to you, make sure you get across to nordvpn.com. Try it risk-free now with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And this is our exclusive deal with NordVPN. And also, if you don't want to get the 2-year plan, there is other plans there that you guys can get. But I would say, we all travel across Christmas. Some of you have kids. It can be a nightmare. You want them entertained, get your VPN, stick on the channels. Jack, anything you want to add?
Well done, Dave. Listen to the big man. Listen to Dave. You'd be helping the channel out a ton. I know Drew loves it. Drew uses it. Drewzilla, Ribsy uses it. He loves it. He's been using it. So those are other, great endorsements of regular people on this channel that have been using it to make their life a lot easier, cheaper, saving money here and there. Great way. But yeah, pinned at the top of the chat. Use the code FLATCAP, please.
And for any podcast listener that does listen back and you're thinking, that sounds great, just like the turkey dinner I'm going to have on Christmas. Well, guys, it is pinned in the description below the video, so you can still get on it. Just click on it. It brings you straight across. NordVPN has given us the link and done all the work for you. That's how great they are to work with. So, guys, let's kick it on. We'll go back to, I've lost the comment now, but basically, where is it? Let me go back and get it.
While you're doing that, Dave, everybody please smash the like button too. I think there's 150 likes from what I can tell. Well close to 450, I think, throughout this stream. So we'd really appreciate it, guys. I mean, I hope that at least 50% of you guys happen to join the stream. So smash the like button, please.
No, I appreciate it. It was by Raven Raju. Basically, he says, let's talk about the players that we really need to rely on to step up today. That's what he wants to get into, sort of team talk, positions and stuff. So we're going to get into that. So first of all, before we get into specific positions, guys, who do we really need to show up tonight? Who are we relying on? You got someone like James Maddison, very inconsistent this season. One thing I would add, Ali Pally is on over this now in the Christmas, so hopefully that brings consistency because I know he's going to be there. I'm waiting to catch him. I'm watching afternoon sessions and evening sessions, so I will find him in the crowd. You've got someone like Son, who again hasn't been at the races, for large parts of this season. Kulusevski's been absolutely brilliant, but sometimes his head product, can be questioned a little bit. You've got young Archie Gray, young Radu Dragston in there. If Basuma comes back in, he owes us a big apology. So, we'll start with Soren and we'll work our way around. Who are we relying on tonight, Soren? Who needs to have a big game for you tonight?
I think Maddison. We know he can unlock a game. He can be really big. But I think when you look at, obviously we've got to see what the team is tonight, but it's not just one player. We've got to have, Sonny's got to be on form. Hopefully Solanke's on form. Hopefully Maddison's on form. And then it depends who's playing with them. If it's Basuma, he's got to show up because he just has been absolutely diabolical. If any player owes us an absolutely massive game, it's Basuma. If Bentancur's playing, then he's got to turn up tonight. I don't think it's any one player. I think the thing is every single player on that pitch has got to be on absolutely top form. Look, we've said it a few times now. Let's not pretend. We are still playing a big team tonight. We are still playing Man United, and Man United are not going to come into this game thinking they're going to lose. So we've just got to turn up. We have got to be every single one of us, the fans, the players, everything has just got to turn up. So it's not about any one player being on form. It's about all 11 players being on form and not one player not turning up. Because if one player doesn't turn up and we have a couple of mistakes in the game, then there's every chance we can lose it. So it's got to be a perfect performance tonight. There's no question about it.
No, do you know what? I definitely agree with you. I know Paul in the chat has said that as well. He was very quick to get in and say, Dave, the whole team needs to turn up. Everyone needs to play to their best ability. It's got to be a team effort tonight, a team performance. And look, I completely agree with that. One player isn't going to be enough to sort of carry this across the line. But you're hoping certain individuals like your Son, like your Basuma, like your Maddison can step up alongside your Kulusevski, Sarr, and players like that and really take the game to Man United. Big up just James as well. Evening, gents. The way the season is going, I'd just be happy if we put in 100%. We've been so lackluster in games that it gives feelings of when Jose and Conte were in charge enough to flip channel. Yeah, look, it could get like that, my man. I get it. It could get like that, especially when we're playing some of the smaller teams, that sit everybody behind the ball. It can get tough, that's for sure. But look, you're just hoping a bit like that Coventry game, just that one win can sort of lift the mood, breathe the confidence through, and you can sort of go on another little purple patch because, we're quite frank, we have to rely on that right now. Jack, on to you. With most of Tottenham's first choice defenders unavailable for the Carabao Cup tonight, how do you think Dragston and Gray will cope, considering the level of competition is significantly higher and a bigger step up than what Southampton and Rangers posed?
Hopefully people can hear me okay. I feel like my internet. Yeah, I think my internet went for a little bit there. To be honest, Dave, you hope they can just channel some of the other performances that they put in. Even though we've lost or dropped points in a lot of those games, right?
Jack's internet is gone. Dermot, are you still with me?
Down.
Oh, you're back, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's gone again. Jack, maybe log out and log back in, lad. Dermot, we'll hand that one down to you, and we'll get Jack back on it when he pops back in.
Look, it's an unfortunate that we haven't got our first, team defenders there. But I feel that Radu Dragston has played well. He's had a few dodgy games, and I think Archie Gray's done very well in that position as well, to be fair. I think he's proved that he can show the commitment and he can play in a few different positions, and he stood up when we've needed him to stand up. I think tonight them defenders need to communicate a hell of a lot to one another, especially against the speed of Manchester United. They're like Højlund and players like that. They need to be communicating. They need to be on point. So, and I think also, just very quickly, Basuma owes us a big game tonight as well. If he does start, he owes us.
We'll get on to Basuma, Dermot.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that back, I don't think the back four, Jed Spence, I think should play tonight, and I think he was brilliant against Southampton. He should start tonight. I think the back four is communication for me. As long as they communicate with one another, they did that. They have done that against Southampton. They did it a little bit against Rangers. I know the Rangers' performance wasn't great, Dave, and I'll accept that. But I thought Archie Gray did quite well in that game, and I thought he played well. And I thought him and Dragson are building slightly.
I'll accept that.
Just building up a little bit of communication with one another. They're building up this little bit of trust in one another. So I think it has to be so important. Whoever plays in that back four, communication, concentrate 110%. If you're marking your man, don't let him go. Mark your man. No lapse of concentration. And I think if we can do that, and Fraser Foster has something to play as well. He has to now to start. If a plays he's coming out of position, get back into position. Mark him. He's got to communicate as well, a bit like Vicario. But look, I think if they can do that, I think we do well against United tonight. It doesn't matter if we've got players missing or not. Once you pull on that shirt, you go over that right line, you've got to give it 110%, no matter who you are or what you are.
No, 100%. Just quickly, DB has become a YouTube member, become a fan show member. Really appreciate that, DB, and look forward to hopefully getting you on some fan shows and, airing your opinion and stuff like that. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And you know what? I feel privileged because if I remember correctly, you gifted one out last week or a few out last week, and you said, you don't usually do that. So I really appreciate that, DB. Really appreciate it. I feel absolutely honored. He says, channel deserves success. Need to back up the chat with the wallet. Dave and Jack deserve success. No time. No trick to it. Takes hard work, and you bring it. Look, really appreciate that. Very, very generous of you, man. Like I said, I'm honored because I know you said it's not something you do too regularly, so really appreciate that, DB. Absolutely honored, my man. You've made my Christmas now. Really appreciate that. But you know what? On the centre backs, I do agree. It is going to be a much bigger step up, though, a much tougher test. I think if you're like Rasmus Højlund, who is in a bit of form lately, or Joshua Zirkzee, I think you're targeting Archie Gray tonight. I think you're telling your wingers, telling your midfielders, put the ball on them. If you're out wide, put it in behind them. If you're coming central, that's where I'm pulling on to tonight. So I think, it is a massive step up for Archie Gray. And look, he's not a natural centre-back, but so far against Southampton, against Rangers, he's handled it well. Southampton wasn't really tested too much. Rangers did get a few opportunities, but tonight is a massive step up in quality. And I do worry that, about players running off him. Is he going to track them? Because he's not a natural thinking centre-back. However, the kid has stepped up. He's shone so far. He's rose to the challenge. And I think he's definitely cemented his place in the squad and proven that he can be trusted come the second half of the season. So a massive game for him tonight. But for me, it's all on Radu Dragusin. The guy's agent has been out there screaming about opportunities at Tottenham Hotspur Horizon. Now, I get he's 22, but I'm sorry, sometimes moments in life come to you regardless of what age, and you need to step up. You need to show that you can handle it, become a leader. And now this is his opportunity. He's got to go out there tonight. He's got to try and get across, cover Archie Gray as best as he can, get Archie Gray through the game, but also worry about his own responsibilities. I'm worried about that area tonight, but Radu Dragusin and Archie Gray have proved me wrong before, so hopefully that can happen tonight. But guys, let's get into talking a little bit about Jed Spence. I know it's one that everybody wants to talk about. So Donovan, we'll start with you, my man. Given his brilliant performance against Southampton and taking his opportunity by not only filling in, and Postecoglou said this, by the way, not only did he fill in, he came in and made an impact, which is what I've always been saying that subs or people on the periphery of the squad need to do. Not just come in, pass the ball around 5 yards, look pretty. You've got to have a fucking impact. And Jed Spence done that. And he's an example to absolutely everybody. So should he be guaranteed to start tonight against Manchester United, regardless of whether Edozie and Porro are fit tonight, Donovan? Or are fans getting carried away?
Well, deserving of a start. You can't argue he's not deserving of a start. His form is electric. Ange did come out and press conference and saying that the lad hasn't played full 90 minutes a long time. I know, like, it's going to take a long time for him to get consistent minutes in his legs. You did see him limping off at the end there. So, does he deserve to start on his form? Yes. Does he automatically come back in? No. I mean, there's variables like I just mentioned that dictate that. But let's just touch on our Jed Spence for a second. Like, what an amazing example of professionalism, just to keep yourself in match shape like that. And I know personally what it's like to feel that when you're not being selected, when you can bring someone to the first team, it's almost like disrespect. It's almost like a constant slap to the face. Like your confidence gets questioned, your ability gets questioned. Basically everything you stand on gets questioned, and you learn a new respect for the game. And Jed Spence has shown, like, his character development, his belief in self. It's just a testament to who he is as an individual. To be ridiculed by the club, the first thing he came in and saying it's a club signing, and Antonio Conte, serial winner, one of the best managers in the world at the time, throws him under the bus like that. To watch him constantly be picked on the sideline, to have such an amazing preseason and impact on the cup, to be left out of the Europa League squad. And it's almost like you're holding him back, slingshotting him forward, and it was shown in the first 30 seconds against Southampton. What an amazing turn, what a driving run forward. And he brings something different that Pedro Porro doesn't. Pedro Porro is amazing on the ball. He's a technician. He's a wizard. He's a dead ball specialist. But Jed Spence offers that classic raw, get in behind, the determination, the athleticism, pace. He's not a small lad by any means. He can win balls in the air. And he still hasn't grown into his physical frame yet. This guy could be an absolute unit if he really applied himself.
But he's 24 though, Donovan. I think that's the big misconception with Jed Spence, that he's young, he's on the early side of 20s. He's 24, it's sort of coming to that point now where he's hitting the middle of his sort of footballing career. And I think Spurs have to weigh up with what we've seen. And everybody else can come in on this as well, lads, is have we seen enough? Has he had enough impact over pre-season, the game off the bench against Coventry and the game at the weekend? To sort of say to Postecoglou and to Spurs fans, you can trust me, I can be an integral part of this squad moving forward. Do you think he's done enough in general? And Donovan, you can answer that and we'll go around the panel.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. He, like, just to have the professionalism to keep himself in match shape like that, it's ridiculous. And you see videos of him in training now playing with his left foot off weak crosses into Richarlison there, and then you can tell he's being integrated into a right back super sub. But utility squad player is probably the way to dub it. I can see him being introduced into the Europa League squad. People could argue that they're just protecting his value and he's seeing as an asset, and that's why the new contract was offered. But it's clear to see the abilities there. Countless managers come out and said he's either going to be a world star or going to be a League One player or a non-league player. So he possesses the talent, he possesses the right mindset. Now it's just up to us to utilize him to his greatest potential, because we have a real raw talent on our hands, and it'd be a shame to watch him go to the wayside.
No, it wouldn't. This is the thing. I think there's a real player there, but, a couple of managers have come out of previous, sort of mentioned about his attitude, at Leeds, and I think Neil Warnock was another one when he was at, I think, Nottingham Forest or Middlesbrough. So managers have come out, and this is the thing. He's 24 years of age. Dermot, what do you think Jed Spence has done enough, like Donovan has said, to be able to get her registered into the Europa League squad for the second half of the season?
Not really, no. We've only seen him in one game and a little bit of preseason. I just don't think if he was training well and doing well, he would be in the team by now. He would have been picked for Europe. So there has to be a reason why. I don't feel Jed Spence. Everyone can jump on the Jed Spence train after one game. He has to put a few games together. Where you have to give him credit for is his mentality and keeping his head together, training hard, and he's doing his bit, and he's just biding his time. So you've got to give him credit for that. But I think there has to be something in training or somewhere along the line where Andrew's saying,
he's had a groin injury, Dermo, for a large part of this season.
Yeah, well, so is other players have injuries.
Yeah, but he couldn't be selected. If he's out injured and he's got a groin injury, you can't be selected.
Yeah, but I just don't think he's done enough. I think you can't just cancel him after one good game. He has to put games. He had to be a bit more consistent.
So
and I'm not saying the kid. I don't think the kid hasn't got talent. Yeah, he has got talent. And I don't get me wrong, I think the commitment he's shown to on all what he's been under would have, most younger players would have lost their heads. He hasn't. So he's got to be commended for that. And he's got to be commended for his commitment as well and keeping up his trying hard in training to force his way into the first team. But I think you have to wait to see Spence over a couple of games. You can't just say after one good game against Southampton, Spencer's the man. He could play stinker tonight if he plays. We don't know. He's not match fit either, so he can only play an hour or 70 minutes. So give him time. Let's give him a bit of space. Let's give him a little bit of encouragement and let him get into a bit more games, and then see after 6 or 7 or 8 games where he's at. But do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, Dermo? Where I disagree with you, and I'll hand it off to Soren as well, is where I disagree with you, Dermo, is I think when you look at his impact in terms of preseason, the impact he had on games, it's undeniable. The impact he had off the bench against Coventry, we were dead and buried. He came on, completely changed that. The impact he had straight away against Southampton, I think, he's made a big enough impact to say, let's take a look at me. Where I sort of agree with you is, I do think if he gets the opportunity tonight, it does sort of tell us, Soren, that whether this guy can be reliable on a consistent basis or whether he's just a guy that can fill in on a one-off. We don't need a guy that can just drop in on a one-off and do it here and there. We need a guy that can do it back to back, especially with our injury record. So do you think tonight is crucial in terms of Jed Spence's career at Tottenham? Because like I said, he's not like 19, 20 like everybody thinks he is. He's 24 now, pushing on 25. So he's reaching that time where we've got to make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's essential for his career at Tottenham, but I would love to see Jed Spence start at right back, and I would love to see Porro actually start, but on the wing. That'd be brilliant, because then that really does show that right-hand side up, because you've kind of got 2 defensive-minded players who are very good at attacking. I think it all depends on whether Udoji's fit enough to play, because it was said that, it wasn't a proper injury, but he was still sore. So, look,
do you think, just quickly on that, Soren, do you think Postecoglou takes that gamble, considering he sort of done it with Romero and Van de Ven and it backfired?
Well, yeah, this is what I was about to say, that, it's whether the risk is worth it. But look, I've already said tonight that tonight is one of the biggest games of the season. And do you take those risks? Yeah, you kind of have to. Because if we don't take the risk and we go out and we haven't played the strongest team, then you haven't,
So does Jed Spence not fit in that back line then for you anywhere tonight?
Do
you think he's one that comes
I would like to see Jed Spence play right back tonight, because, look, as much as I love Porro, he hasn't had a good season so far. His defensive side has been shockingly poor. That, to me, I would look. I mean, a lot of people have said we want to see Porro on the wing. Today would, can you imagine the shock that all of a sudden Porro and Spence on the right hand side and overlapping each other, because you've got that defensive player. Put Kulu in the middle, and but it does depend on. I mean, obviously, if Udoji isn't fit enough to play, Porro's got to start on the right, Spencer's got to play on the left, because we haven't, we know Gray's going to start at centre back. So for me, we have got to put the strongest defence out there that we can. And the way Porro's been playing, it's too much of a risk for me. We've got to put Spence in there, hoping he can step up. And look, the lad has got some talent. There obviously is a reason he hasn't been playing. But, I mean, we've said that he had a great game against Southampton. He was far better when he was on the right than he was on the left. He kind of subdued a little bit on the left. And that first 30 seconds where he did that turn and run, that's what we want to see tonight. That's what we need tonight. Yeah. So, to me, he starts as right back. And we know he's not going to last this 90 minutes. So, you either don't play you don't play Porro to start with and bring him on. That would be the way I would go if he doesn't. You know, I mean, we know he's not going to play right wing, so Porro sits on the bench and let Jed Spence start. It's a game of risks. It's you know. We could start Porro and he plays shit and we say, why don't we play Spence? We could play Spence and he plays shit and why don't we start Porro? There is no right or wrong tonight. That's the problem. It's whoever is picked to start that team, that match has to come out and play. Full stop. There is no excuses tonight. Doesn't matter what team. We know the team's ransacked with injuries. Doesn't matter who he picks. They have to come out and play. Full stop.
No, absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree more. I think, you know, there is no excuses for either of the fullbacks tonight. You know, whoever's put out there, they've got to put in a top-class performance. You're hoping if Porro does start, for instance, that, you know, Jed Spence coming in and having the impact he has maybe woke Porro up a bit. You might see a little bit of urgency out of him tonight. But in general, I do, when I look at Jed Spence, and I think back to pre-season, the initial impacts he's had, Coventry, Southampton. What I love about him and where I think, you know, he is having this impact is he's direct. You know, in pre-season he came on, a lot of other players were sort of just passing the ball around. Anytime it went to him, direct. He wants to go and score goals. He wants to make something happen. Coventry game, came off the bench, direct, was the catalyst for us, sparking that comeback when everyone else was getting comfortable playing side to side, and was the tempo setter, set the tempo of the game against Southampton the other day. Most other players in that position gets that ball, passes it back. He skins his man, goes and plays Maddison then through for that 1-0. And I do think when I look at that, I like that. I really like that. And I think that is something that we should look to capitalize on. And I don't think we should be writing off Jed Spence yet. You know, there's a general misconception around that. Oh, Postecoglou just won't play Jed Spence. He's had a groin injury for a long parts of this season. After that Coventry game, he picked up a groin injury and he's been out. He's only been back recently the last couple of weeks. And we don't know how fit he's been to be able to come off the bench. You hope now that we've seen him, that now we start to see a little bit more of him. Dermot, down to you, my man. This is from Foggy Foreman. He's right. Postecoglou did say, he said Edozie won't play both United and Liverpool game. He says surely he puts him in tonight and rest him this weekend. What would you do?
I would rest Udogie and keep him for the Liverpool game. I think that's tonight's important, but Liverpool is more important as well.
More important than tonight?
I said tonight is important, but Liverpool is as important as well.
Yeah.
As well as tonight. I think that game on Liverpool on Saturday is important. For giving us a good foothold into the Christmas period, if we can get something off them. And I think tonight, if we win tonight, that puts us in really good, confident mood for that game against Liverpool. We shouldn't fear anyone. I don't get this assumption that we have to fear other teams. I don't feel Liverpool on Sunday. They're just Liverpool. They can have an off day the same as we can. They're human beings the same as we are. They've got the same 11 players on the pitch. They might have a shit game. But I would start Spence tonight, and I will do Udogie on Sunday, because I think Udogie is more. I think he's important tonight. Spence can do a job, but do you know what? Spence is not 100% fit, and I think these games will help with his fitness. But no, I keep Udogie for Sunday. But Sundays is as important as tonight is, and we have to get something out of that game as well if we want top 4 this season.
Oh, no, 100%. But also, look, you know, as well as I do, everyone around us is Liverpool. You know, half of the country is Liverpool. So, you know, we definitely don't want them having something to celebrate heading into the Christmas.
Definitely not.
You know, King Odell says holding back for Mo Salah. Yeah, look, to be honest, I just, when I look at it, and what Postecoglou said, I don't think he plays tonight. I think he probably goes with Jed Spence and plays Edozie at the weekend. Let's wait and see what happens there. DJ Samuel says it's coming home. Tottenham, it's coming home. And then he follows up and says, Enoch out and Levy out. Big up, DJ Samuel. Really appreciate the support, my man. Look, hopefully it does come home tonight, my man. You know, we do want to get into that semi-final. Big up, my man. Really appreciate support. And, you know, we are recruiting, by the way, out there. Anyone, if you're only, and you've got to be good at the game. We can't take passengers for my pro clubs team. And we only need 1 or 2 players, because, you know, we need to get more regulars every single evening that's around to play. So if that does interest you, let me know. DJ Samuel, rate yourself out of 10. And if it's good, we'll give you a try run, my man. Big up DJ Samuel. And we also have Davey Shire in the house, member for 15 months. G'day, Dave and Jack. Come on, you effing Spurs. Big up, Davey. Hopefully you're keeping well. Summertime over there in Australia right now, I always find that weird. It's Christmas, summer, it just doesn't go for me. When you see the movies, the songs, it's all about winter and Christmas. So I'm not sure how you feel about that, Davey, but regardless, hopefully you're having a great time, my man. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and if we win tonight, I think we'll probably all be, the jolliest people around England, considering the hard times we've suffered lately. And also it just gives Ange Postecoglou that bit of breathing room. I think everything sort of relaxes around the guy, and people give him at least up until that semi-final anyway. So it'll bring the excitement back around, which is what we need this Christmas. Big up, Davey. Good to see you, sir. And hopefully you are keeping well, Mr. Shire. Guys, let's move on into midfield because, there is also a bit of a talking point there. Many fans were very impressed with Lucas Bergvall. Many fans are really pissed off with Yves Bissouma. So we'll start with you on this, Soren. Yves Bissouma is available again after serving the one-match ban, but his recent form has dipped. Lucas Bergvall has put in promising performances. Who should get the nod in the anchor role in the midfield today in such a high-stakes quarter-final?
One. I mean, if we're looking at the three midfielders, to me, two are straight away on the team sheet, and that's Kulu and Madders tonight. And if you're playing Kulu and Maddison, then you can't. To me, you don't play Bergvall. I would probably say Papsar for me. So midfield three of Kulu, Maddison, and Papsar. As much as I would want to put Bissouma in there, I do find it hard to feel like he's going to turn up. That's the problem. With Papsar, he's going to give his all. He's going to run around and he's going to do his job. He has far more better games than he has quiet games. Kulu, look, how can you not put Kulu in there? Assuming Son and Brennan Johnson are starting on the wings, then it's got to be Kulu, Maddison, and Papsar for me. I just don't dare play Bergvall tonight. I think he had a good game against Southampton, but it was Southampton. We're not talking Southampton tonight. That's the problem. I just think tonight is not a night for Bergvall. It's a night for somebody who's had the experience of playing in the Premiership on a regular basis. Look, I know Papsar's still a young lad, but he's shown he can, he's not afraid of the big games and he will show up. So, yeah, for me, Papsar, Maddison, Kulu.
Do you know what? I agree with you in terms of Bergvall. I think it comes down to tonight for me, which player is going to have a massive impact in terms of shaping the outcome for Tottenham Hotspur. And as good as Bergvall has been, in his cameo roles, I go back to that Roma game when they just got up his hole, hit him hard. He's sort of like he really did look like a boy in a man's world that night. And I think with Bissouma, despite my frustrations with him, because he just won't do the right thing, he's already on thin ice and he comes into the season on laughing gas. And then in the biggest game of the season, before this one tonight, he goes and gets goes and gives away a penalty and changes, the outcome of the game and stuff. The guy is really becoming a bugbear. However, if you can get the Bissouma that played against Man City, and I think that's the risk you got to take tonight, right, Soren?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like you just don't know what. Bissouma's the problem with Bissouma for me is he can come on and he can have that game, but you kind of always expect him to do something stupid, and that's the worry against tonight. That he comes on and he gives that penalty away, or he gets sent off, or he just doesn't turn up. There is more ifs and buts with Bissouma than, to me, is worth tonight's risk. Like I say, Papsar for me is a little bit more dependable. He maybe isn't at the level Bissouma is when Bissouma's on his game, but to me, he's just more reliable as a safer bet. And I know tonight maybe isn't about safe bet, but it's got to be as well. But again, look, the thing is, we can all sit here and say this is who we want. I mean, assuming everybody's fit, that is fit. then I think he'll start with those three. But then knowing Ange probably will play Basuma, and he probably will put Papsar on the bench. I don't see any other two starting over Kulusevski and Maddison. So it is that third person. So unless he puts Kulu on the right, that's the only other thing. But I think he will start with Brennan Johnson on the right. I think he will start with Sonny on the left, and I think he will start with Maddison and Kulu in the middle. It could be Basuma. It could be. Look, we could all get the shock, and he might start with Bergvall. I don't think he will. But
I think he said something in the press conference where he said, he was very tired after that Southampton game in terms of Bergvall, and I think maybe alluding to, that there would be a late sort of check on him. I think that probably alludes to that he can't play that two big games like that within a week. What my midfield tree would be personally. 1 second, Donovan, will you just put yourself on mute while you're writing there, man? Your microphone's so good, everybody can hear every sort of noise. I appreciate that, my man. But when it comes to the midfield, look, for me, what I would do tonight, and I think it probably will be Basuma come in. I think Postecoglou will elect to go with the experience, give him another opportunity, whether it's right or wrong. I think then, it comes down to, is Brennan Johnson the right guy for tonight? I think if United were up against back four, I think there's an argument to be made. But I do think Man United will come and play a back five, and I think that's where you see Brennan Johnson really struggling in this Tottenham team. And I do think you need that creator out there. So I would actually go with Kulusevski out on the right, and that means I would go with Maddison and Sarr to make up the rest of my midfield. I think you've got to play Maddison tonight. I think you've got to take the chances off the back of a man-of-the-match performance. And Papa Sarr, this guy just constantly gets around. He goes around chasing the ball. He gets deployed. Soren had to jump. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, maybe he's got family something. But that's Soren, guys. He's had to leave. Jack had to bow out with his internet. Who's next to go on me? Sorry to hear about that, Soren. But, I would go with Papa Sarr to sort of get after United's back line after that midfield and go and hunt down the ball. Dermot, what midfield would you go with tonight, man?
I would love to see Bergvall start, but I think after watching the same press conference you did, Dave, about Bergvall being tired, I think it'd be Maddison, Sarr, and I would like to see Kulu in the middle, actually. So Maddison, Kulu, and Sarr. That would be my midfield tree. I agree with Soren. I just don't trust Basuma. When he's on his game, Basuma is probably one of the best players in the Premier League when he's on his day. But you look at Chelsea, he changed that game. That stupid, ridiculous penalty. Luton last season where he dived and got himself sent off. The laughing gas before the start of the season. How many more times can he let us down and come out and apologise? Enough's enough. He's a good player. He's got such a career ahead of him. He should be dedicated. He should be 100% focused on what his craft is. And that's a number 6 or a number 8 in that midfield. Concentrate on that. But he doesn't. And he's one of them players you either love him or you hate him, or he's so damn well frustrating. But I would start with Kulu. I think Kulu's better in the midfield. Do Maddison as well. I think play 2 10s. I'm not a fan of 2 10s in midfield, but I think tonight you do, and you put Sarr in that number 6 role. I really do. I think that would be my midfield 3. But yeah, Basuma for me, what a talent, but what an idiot as well at the same time. He rarely is. He's one of those lovable rogues that you cannot stand him, but you can't help but love him in a way, if you know what I mean.
No, look, I definitely agree with that. I've said this plenty of times about Basuma. He's got so much talent, but I just don't think he's sort of necessarily got what would you call it, the discipline of someone like Kulusevski, for instance, living his life right off the field to ever really bring that consistency in a Tottenham jersey. Donovan, what midfield do you think we need to start tonight to be able to get at Man United? Because the midfield battle is key. It's an old cliche, but I don't think it's too far wide of the mark. You win the midfield battle, you 9 times out of 10 you go on to win the game.
Yeah, I predict Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes. What Bruno Fernandes brings to the table is that industrious nature, but when it comes to it, he's not a very defensive player. So I think Sarr is going to really cover that. I think we have to go back to our best midfield. Like on paper, you could argue that you can throw Bendiker in there, but on their day, it's Madison, Basuma, and Sarr. I do agree with you that Basuma has absolutely lost the plot. I think we can all agree that the whippets before the season was just absolute idiocy. I looked it up yesterday because I was actually so annoyed by it, just like the whole Basuma situation, that I went and looked at the Tottenham wage budget, and he's actually one of our least earners, but still though, $55,000 a week is just mind blowing. Like some people don't even make that much in a year, and he's making that a week. So I go back to what he said in the press. Like I think it's bull that he comes out afterwards saying you're going to see the real Basuma now. It's like, lad, you're 28. Like, this is it. But you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did say that. So back it up. Like, that's it. Back it up. You know, like, this is last chance.
Did you not have that opportunity against Rangers and then went out and put on that piss poor performance? Though, and this is the thing. You know, he had the opportunity to back it up already, and he let everyone down again.
Yeah, it's we got a draw, so he didn't drop any points. So this is an elimination game in the cup. This is it, as far as I'm concerned. I think we've already kind of set sail on the Basuma train when it comes to what the club stands, because we came up publicly saying we're going to listen to Offershorn in the summer. Same thing with the Richarlison. So these fringe players are the last ones that are going to be turned over before Ange finally gets his kind of full hands on the squad and does what he wants to do with it. He even comes out in the first week and saying how he wanted Basuma to lead and stuff, and he comes in late for 2 training sessions in a row after. So obviously the lad's head's not in the game. Maybe he's just comfortable being a professional footballer with no ambition. That's okay, because like there's plenty of those out there, like the Will Hughes of the league, right? The I can name all countless midfielders that are good at putting 6 and 10 sevens in every week, but will never go up and to achieve that next level of their career. I think he really hid in Brighton because he was able to mask that lack of ambition with a Brighton club that were just overachieving and are a mid-table club. And that's where he belongs. He belongs in a mid-table club. He can't anchor a top 4 club, but we need him to do it today. And we need him to reach those levels of the heights that he did against the first 10 games of last season before he dove. But I don't want to keep it going on Basuma because we know Basuma. I think it's going to be Madison and Sarr. Madison really needs to take advantage of that half space left in between, because Son is going to have the batter of his wing back, because they haven't adapted to this Ruben Almiron system yet. There's going to be a lot of space where Son's going to be driving at that right-handed center back. He's really going to be engaging De Ligt to come out. I predict it's going to be De Ligt to start. He's really going to be engaging De Ligt to come out and play, and your guard is going to come over and double up on him, and that leaves a good 50 yards, 15 to 20 yards for Madison to really operate in. And it's going to be crucial what Madison does in that half space. And then Sarr is just the legs, stay out of the book. I mean, a yellow card for any one of these players, minus maybe Madison, is really going to hinder that midfield battle. So we've seen Basuma, was it against City? 10 seconds in, take out Phil Foden, right? Get that yellow card, and he's playing on ice. So really bind that discipline. Avoid going to the card until you absolutely need to start taking tackles. And I think if we play to our strengths, there's just way too much ability in that midfield, and there's too much combativeness for Tottenham. We'll overrun them, especially if they only play a 2-man midfield with Fernandes. So it's up to Sarr and Basuma to really carry us today, and it really depends what Basuma is going to turn up. So.
And you know what? For me, this area is absolutely crucial. You've got players in the Man United midfield that I think, if you're willing to make it life very, very difficult, make it a very robust, tough game for them, getting there, getting around their feet. Not only do I think they crumble under the pressure or, sort of shy away from it at times, but I also think they're liable, one of them, to snap and take a red card as well. So I think you're right. That is the area we need to sort of put pressure on them in terms of out of possession. But in possession, we've got to be equally as good. We just got to pop it around and make sure that they're chasing shadows for most of the game. I think Madison's effect on the game actually is dictated by Yves Bissouma. And what I mean by that is, when Yves Bissouma plays in that number 6, because he's got no passing range, he often has to take 9-10 touches on the ball and dribble it to create a yard or to, create an angle to pass that ball 5-10 yards. He's very limited in terms of how he plays out from that number 6 And often he slows it right down, which allows the whole opposition to get behind the ball. And then usually what you're seeing is James Maddison then, because he is that calm who operates in pockets of space between the midfield and the back line, he then, because he wants that pocket of space, he has to drop in front of the whole opposition lineup to pick up that ball. And I know a lot of people sort of blame it on the tactics, but I don't think it is tactics related. I think it's Yves Bissouma. He's the problem in there. When you see the best of Maddison, even against Man City, a lot of the moves, Bissouma didn't touch the ball in a lot of the moves. Maddison was the catalyst to it, straight through Maddison and on. So I do think if he does play tonight, he's got to move that ball quickly. It's what happened against Southampton. If Bergvall picked it up in a deeper position, he just moved it on swiftly with one pass out to the right-hand side. Let's go again. Same with Papa Sarr. Bissouma has to learn to do that. And quite frank, I often find he gives away the ball far too often for a guy in that number 6. What you're looking for from a number 6 is basically to read the play defensively, protect your 2 centre-backs. I don't think he's the greatest at that. And in terms of in possession, you want a guy that just doesn't even take risks, just can move that ball, has a high sort of pass percentage, and he doesn't have that for me either. So we need a massive game from him. Papa Sarr, not too concerned about. The guy is just Mr. All Consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get. In terms of the forward line then, some people are saying the lineups are out. Dermo, can you share them in? Because for some reason it will not let me log into fucking Twitter.
Yeah, I think I can, man. Yeah.
If not, Donovan, have you got Twitter? Can you share them into me? We'll get the lineups, guys. Just bear with us one moment.
There you go, you Dermo. What do you got,
Dermo has them there. So the lineups are out. I'll call out the starting lineup. Dermo will give us the bench. So we have Fraser Forster in goals, Pedro Porro at right back, Dragusin and Archie Gray at centre back with Jed Spence in at left back. We have Papa Sarr, Bissouma and Maddison in midfield with Kulusevski, Solanke and Son. If I'm correct, that's the exact predicted lineup I think I actually put out for this game. So, not bad guesswork from a pre-match press conference there from me. I guess the question is, guys, we'll go to each of you quickly, get your thoughts on the starting lineup and get your score predictions. Dermo, we'll start with you, my man. And sorry, read out the bench for us as well, Dermo.
Yeah, we've got Brendan, we've got Austin, Whiteman, Reguilon, Dorrington, Hardy, Bergville. Is it Olsey, that young player?
Callum Olsey.
Yeah.
Brendan Johnson and Will Lancashire on the bench. I think that's a really good bench, actually. With
wow,
Johnson
no Timo Werner. No Timo Werner. Wow, that's crazy.
No Timo Werner at all.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
What if they got him a ticket back already?
Dermo, what's your thoughts on the lineup? So, we had a discussion there midweek that, there's something to it. Do Tottenham play better without Brendan Johnson? Because you go back to the Man City game 4-0, Southampton game 5-0, our last 2 wins in our last 8 games. Common denominator, Brendan Johnson on the bench.
Yeah, I think it's a good lineup. It's a strong lineup, actually. I'm quite pleased with that lineup. It's great to see Jed Spence starting again. I did say about Kulu, but I think Kulu's more playing on the right wing than in that cam role. But look, the midfield 3 for me, Bissouma has to put in a performance tonight. He has to show he's truly sorry. And I think Solanke up front, look, Dom will get a goal. I think Mr. Fantastic himself, Sonny, the captain, has to show tonight. And I think that goal against Southampton would do the world of good. And I just think Fraser Forster, look, it's a great lineup. It's a lineup we're going to win. I'm going for a 3-1 win. I went with it in my predicted lineup. I ain't changing from that. And it's Spurs all the way because Spurs are on the way to Wembley. Come on, you boys.
Dermo, I'm going to put your channel link in there now. Tell people how many more you need to get to your magical number by Christmas.
Yeah, I'm only 7 away from 2K, guys. So if you can, it really would mean a hell of a lot. Look, Dave knows how much work we put into our channels and shows, and a lot of work goes into it. A lot of sacrifices are made during the long season. So yeah, mean a hell of a lot to me. I never thought I would get to 1K, let alone nearly 2K. So please, if you can, get over there. I'm only 7 away. It would mean a hell of a lot to myself, Colin, over there, Tequila as well, and Carl, who will be joining us after Christmas. But yeah, it would mean absolutely everything to me if we can get there tonight. It really would. So if you can make an Irish lad's dream come true, then please, I'd love to get to 2K tonight. And it's 6 away now. So thank you for that one. Thank you, Seb Wolf. But yeah, 6 away. Come on, guys.
Well,
there's plenty of you in there.
There's plenty of you in there. So yeah, look, there's over 500 in-house. So if 5 of you, even 10 of you, want to get them over there 2K for Christmas, please get over there and make Dermot's Christmas dream come true. Look, regardless whether you agree with him or not. I find him completely entertaining. And, you know, he's here every single pre-match, if you've noticed, between the start of the season and now. So please get over, show your love, show your support in return to Dermo, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. The link is there. Just click on it, bring you straight to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Donovan, what's your thoughts on the lineup? A lot of people saying that's probably the best lineup we could have put out there tonight. They seem to be very happy with it. What's your thoughts? What's your score prediction, my man?
Yeah, it's just seeing it. I'm glowing. I'm buzzing. I'm ready to go. I could be in the tunnel myself and pumping up the lads and screaming and doing everything I need to do get the win done. Let's see there. Lindelof, man. Wow, Lindelof starting. I didn't even forgot he was playing. Eriksen's playing. Wow, we're gonna dominate that midfield, man. Eriksen doesn't have the legs. We have to watch out for that Dalo, and your guard is going to be robust. But other than that, like I'm confident. Dominic Solanke is going to have a huge task on him. He's going to be crowded in that box for three center backs, and so we're going to have to utilize that and really provide service in him. So because like if he's crowded out of the game, then that's United's job done. You know, then they can start putting pressure on the other side of the pitch and really start pressuring us farther up the pitch. We have to prove to them right away that Dominic Solanke is an outlet. He's a target man. We can really utilize him, and that pins them back, and that lets us operate in those half spaces. Sonny needs to be brave and take his man on and show us what he did against City, show us what he did against countless opposition. So roll back the years what he did against Kieran Trippier, run at his man, drop those shoulders, do what he needs to do. If you're ever going to leave everything on the table, this is the match to do it.
Yeah,
I'm fully confident in the lads. I was going with a 2-1 at the beginning, but seeing that lineup, seeing my boy Spence in the lineup, I'm going to give it a 3-1 Tottenham. Either we go behind in the match or we have some moment of adversity to overcome. That's kind of what Ange Ball is. That's kind of what our season has been so far. But whatever happens, just stay behind the lads. Don't lose your head. It might be a rocky halftime. It might be a rocky start to the game. But those 63,000 fans need to be behind the team. It has to be brutalization right from the start. And, you know, we're only walking out of here going to a semifinal, man. We'll be singing that. I'll be joining Dermo, and I'll be pumping up my own. We're rocking up to Wembley in my car. I'll be listening out on the way to work tonight. So come on, you Spurs, man.
Come on, you Spurs. And guys, please get over, check out Donovan's channel. You know, it pops on whenever I ask him to. He always makes himself available. So please make sure you get across, smash that subscribe button. Going to be putting out content. Already a couple of videos out there. So if you do enjoy his contribution, I know we had someone from Alberta in there earlier on. Make sure you get across and support your boy. But guys, look, that's it from us. I want to say a massive thank you to Soren. Jack, hopefully he's got his internet sorted out. If not, that could be a problem for the watch along. Dermot and Donovan, really appreciate the boys' time this evening in general for these pre-match, build-ups. By the way, everybody, Dermot has reached 2K, so fair play to you. Very kind souls out there getting across. And,
yeah, it's over 2012, Dave.
Nice.
I'm literally
Let's go.
speechless.
Come on.
Thank you so much to everyone. I am so humbled. I am so humbled. Thank you all so much. And Dave, thank you. It was you that gave me miss. I never dreamt I'd get the 2K. I'm really humbled and really humbled by it. Thank you.
You're all good. You're kind souls out there, guys, making people's Christmas. Well, look, it is the season of giving. It is the season to be jolly. Well, ours is going to be dictated in the next hour or so, over the next 90 minutes. So stay tuned. I will be back for the watch along, guys. We will get it up and running. I'll give you my opinion on the starting lineup. And look, we need a big night tonight. They need everybody behind the team. Hopefully it's a win tonight and not a fallout after another loss. Guys, thank you very much at home for all your support, tuning in, great comments, all the way throughout the show. And, great comments as well. People saying they really enjoyed today. So thank you very much. It'd be hard to do all this if nobody was listening or nobody was interacting with you. So I really appreciate you all. And it doesn't go underappreciated or unnoticed either. A massive thank you to people who's gone the extra mile, like Moondog, like Peter, THFC Till I Die, DB, DJ Samuel, Mr. Shire as well. And then we've got this from Jerome to end off on. Big up, Jerome. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well down under, pumped up, ready to go. It's early for you, isn't it? Or is it late for you? Early, I think, for you, my man. Very early, actually. He says, I don't care if we get thumped by Liverpool on Sunday, but we have to win today. I don't care about top four, but we need that trophy. Do you know what? On that, Jerome, just quickly, I do care about the Liverpool game for one reason and one reason only. My sister's fella is Liverpool. I'm going to have to draw that over Christmas. So it would be nice to dampen it down a little bit by taking a point at least off them. However, for me, I'm with you. I said it at the start of the season. Obviously, I don't want to fall too far down the league. I still want to try, get top 4 if we can and stuff like that. But the reality is we're not competing in the league. I do want to go all out for a cup competition. And it's all about tonight, my man. It's all about tonight. We win. It lifts the mood. It gets people giddy. Gives us something to look forward to. But also gives that squad momentum. Everybody that's out injured, momentum to get back for that semi-final, in January. For the last 2 games of the Europa League. And gives us something to play for come the back end of the season for the first time in fucking ages. This game is super important tonight. Guys, I'll see you here for 7:30, 25-8 for the big game. I'm absolutely pumped up. It's a quarterfinal. Come on, you bloody Spurs.
Come on.
Trust.
Come on.
You can earn the trust tonight. We never stop, baby. See you soon.
Spurs are on their way to Wembley.
And Andrew